have some great personalities to help us do that discussion. Now, let me introduce to you our main coordinator or instructor or lecturer for this masterclass. So he is Andrew Akai, the CEO of Densu Ghana, the largest marketing communications group in the country, which is made up of Carrots, I Prospect, and Denshu Creative. Andrew started his media career some 2 decades ago at Mediacom Ghana, first as a media planner, and then quickly grew into media strategy role, where he honed his passion for delivering cutting-edge media solutions for many global blue-chip clients and other local brands in Ghana. Later on, he became the MD of the company, helping to develop talents and solutions for clients. He also had an extended role to develop and manage several media business affiliates, in West Africa, including Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, and Togo, and even in Southern Africa, Zambia. He holds an MBA in marketing from the University of Ghana and a degree in economics and geography from KNUST. And he's also the current president of the Advertising Association of Ghana. His key mandate is to promote and preserve the best standards of advertising practice in the country. He's currently working with lawmakers to pass into law the first advertising bill. Yes. In sports, he plays golf often and tennis, yeah? And then his leisure, reading, traveling, thought leadership lectures, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Aka. Yes, boss, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
I'm good. Good. The last time Philip got me to come to the studio was about 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago.
Hey,
yes.
10 years ago.
I used to be a regular on this program.
Okay.
So I'm happy to be back. He really pulled strings to get me here. But it's always exciting to be at your studio.
We are glad to have you because today we're talking branding. We hear that a lot. Artists say, "Oh, yes, we need branding. Yeah, we need solid." What does it mean when we talk about branding? But there is one artist here. He has a solid brand. I don't know if I'm right to say that, but I know he has a solid brand. I'm not expert in branding, but a solid brand. But it appears of late it's been putting on ties, suits, white shirts, and NKZ. Guru, Maradona.
Chairman.
What's up?
I'm
Everything
good.
cool?
Yeah, everything nice. Everything
School.
nice. Yep.
How is the learning and the music combining the two?
Anyway,
Difficult,
big shouts to everybody listening to me. It's been difficult. It's been a whole stress.
Wow.
It frustrates a lot. Trust me. You see, it's a whole venture that before you get into it, you need to psych yourself and knowing exactly what you're going in for. You see, you cannot be projecting the celebrity lifestyle on campus. It's two different field. And to be part of this fraternity, you must understand there is a core mandate. The whole thing is to make sure you get your GPAs, and academically you have to be on point, because you don't want to exit with some maybe you won't be proud of, and everything goes out. So to me, it's quite challenging, and we are trying.
Talking about GPA, I hear you did blow the course basa.
Make it not take me good.
Yeah,
yeah, of course. The thing is, you see, I don't like being in a space of lecturers. I don't do that, and I don't even involve myself with any people who play major roles on campus. No, I don't do that. It's only the SRC. I volunteered in sponsoring most of the events they were doing. It's just my little support. But in terms of academics, yeah, of course, I've tried. I'm still trying. Currently, my GPA is around 3.88. Yeah, and it's not been easy. It's not been easy. If anybody tell you,
what course are you offering?
Yeah, currently political science and information studies.
Oh, that takes me there.
But Yeah. It's not been easy, bro. Trust me. Basically, I had the admission to study Bachelor of Science Information Technology,
Okay.
because with the elective maths I had A. So
Wow.
that was what I wanted to embark on. But later I realized, no, I can't have time because a lot about this thing, there is a lot that goes into IT, the calculus, the coding. You miss one class, that's it.
So are you doing
You're
a
done.
combined major?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Information and political
science. Wow.
Yeah.
What informed the decision to do these courses, 2 courses?
Yeah, one, I want to work with the UN. Yes.
UN?
I want to work with the UN.
You want to stop music totally?
No, music. You see, there is no way you can go without music. Music is my life. The whole inspiration about my life now is about music.
Okay.
And I don't like the fact, I don't want to be boxed in one space that, all you know to do is to sing, rap. No, I don't want to be like that. Because before coming into music, I was doing marketing. I studied marketing for like 2 years. I studied a little bit about branding and all that.
Oh, wow.
And after I did IT at NIT and also IPMC, I've been through the genesis. And after that, I started bettering some of my courses, writing. So all this noise on this whole Showbiz, all these hula balloons, I was more inclined with my academics as well. So it's just to fulfill my mom's expectations. Her dream is to see Nebanwa degree. And I can't go without that. So basically, it's all about projecting the academics to inspire my fan base and also fulfilling mom's dream and myself, and also satisfying my fans.
I see that thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen any change in the way you reason, the way you tackle life's issues after getting into the university?
No. Maturity, if you don't let anybody lie to you. You can be in school and still wagenya. There are ethics of the game. You see, there is a basic lifestyle you should observe. Everyone. You see, when you are selling music, it's not all about controversies.
I get it.
And I'm more inclined with that and knowing what goes into. In music, every negative sells. And if you want to be the talk about raw, so the negatives gives us the buzz. But you should be aware that this is a line. It's a whole different ball game when you are projecting the artistic side of you. Now, when you want to combine at a certain age, at a certain point, then all that you did, all right?
I get it.
Go reciprocate, come to you. So you just have to understand that in life there are genesis, there are times and seasons.
Great.
And me knowing all that, I've been able to try to protect few things about me. There are norms, of course. There are other basic ethics. As a musician, they expect you be doing the exuberant, of course. But I don't go like that. I've been very careful.
Wow.
You can go online, scroll about Guru. There is nothing about
any
scandals.
scandal.
I don't roll like that. It's just
I get you. So a few days ago, I think yesterday or 3 days ago, you wrote this on social media. Dear Legonites, I'm thrilled to have you back in school. Let's kick off the semester with positivity and enthusiasm. Maradona, Yeboah Ejay, Guru NKZ.
Hey, boys,
UGSRC President Hopeful 24. Building the SRC with everyone, for everyone. Let's all get involved. Is it the first time you are vying for a student leadership position? Did you hold any post in secondary school?
No, my whole life has been football. I've been all about sports.
Okay.
I used to play football when I was back in the days in Reverend John Tay. I used to play for the school team.
Wow.
And even at Palm Secondary School, I tried playing and all that. But it's not been with a leadership role here. It's a class captain Crumpy leadership role. Of course. And knowing well about what goes into music. We have a whole fan base. That's a whole leadership role.
Yeah.
And also embarking on a whole lot. But with university, this is my first time embarking on such role.
What's your motivation?
Yes, it's the student and my You see, it's all about the student. And few people have been around where and knowing what goes into this whole school thing,
Yeah.
like being on campus as a student. You see, you have to, and being a key player in show business, and I've been through the genesis. So what exactly motivated me in getting here is the students.
Wow.
Yeah, they inspired me to be here.
What do you say to some people's opinion that maybe the end game to this is to become a politician?
Yeah, to be a politician is not a bad thing. Yes, but like I said, I want to work with the UN.
Okay, just that.
Yeah, that's my main goal.
Wow.
I want to work with the UN because this international body that works for humanity, and I'm ready to serve. Well, all that we're doing is to inspire, motivate, and also give when we it matters the most. So me, I want to work with the UN.
Awesome.
Yes.
You know how politically motivated tertiary institution elections are. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Have you had any
crazy.
influences from some of these political parties?
Yes. You see, before getting into this, I know there are schemers. I know there are people, fanfullers. There are people all over the place who wants to find ways in sending, find ways to make sure you don't win. I know all these challenges that comes with embarking on this whole SRC thing. I know it's difficult, but you see, what matters the most is the student.
Okay.
You see, I'm a non-partisan person. I stand between the middle, and I know my main focus is to make sure the University of Ghana,
great,
as I know, the premier university, name and the brand is protected.
Great.
It is my duty. That's my core mandate. And knowing the happenings on campus, the accommodation crisis, yes, I'm into real estate. That is my
so how do you intend to help them solve that?
Of course. You see, when I was in Australia, I was able to lobby for even new universities, get them some few investors to also invest in. They are ready to build a whole hostel for some universities in around Kumasi, Barakesi. And this whole challenges is happening Mehinano. So what else? I have to embark on this and also help bring my investors, people who can also help solve this crisis. And it's very important. Sometimes I'll be VMate, of course. And what I do is sometimes I'll pay for my whatever room. And I have no choice to leave it to my colleagues because they have nowhere to sleep.
Wow.
And by the end of the semester, I end up spending so much, all because of accommodation crisis. And these are the things we need to pay critical attention to. I know the administration is doing their best in making sure we, the students, get a free and also be comfortable and be able to study to improve our academics. But we all can embark on this. You see, I have to advocate no matter what. And also, you look at Commonwealth Hall and Vandal, there is a whole, there is a lot happening between these two parties. I want to work with the management and then these two halls, bring them together. I want to serve as a peace advocate to these two. And there is a whole number of things happening on campus. And I don't want to start speaking of my policies because, a month we are there.
Okay, so have you not started the campaign in earnest?
Yes,
not
yet.
Okay, so this is just the first step. Okay. When are you having the elections?
July. I learned it's July.
Okay. So far, how is the response on campus after launching your intention to be to contest the election?
Afeja.
Afeja. Okay.
Because the thing is, they're looking for to whoever can help solve their problems. And looking at me, I've been around. Not just Showbiz, not the guru I want them to see or know. Nah, that's not what I'm trying to project. This is a student who's willing to offer that help and work the SRC with them. You see, sometimes most of the people I've seen win in these positions, they win and that's it, it ends. But I'm willing to work with them. Even my first year, I volunteered and even sponsored some of these halls with my own money.
How much do you spend?
I was able to bring, you know how much the Mr. Drews charge and all that. And I was able to do for the Evandis. And after that, the rest of the halls start coming out with their proposal. Even yesterday, I had a proposal about events that, you see, all these things matters. You see, we don't have to ignore, though we are focusing on the academics, but there are so much that goes into it. We need to establish and also empower people into entrepreneur.
Great.
And it's very important. Most of these people you see around doing so well with the Echo House, the Bellamundis, the Giovannis, they're all doing well because of certain inspiration and some things the chances they had. So to me, that is what I want to provide.
Okay.
Make sure school no more there whilst you are studying, education side, and also to help. Now we are say digital.
Oh sure.
Yes, and I can also help reach out to people who can also invest in a lot of things.
Wonderful.
Though I know that there is some activation about the VCs helping to bring every student. I know every student deserves one laptop and all that. So with my support, we'll be able to bring in more investors and also more help.
Great. What do you have to tell your students on campus now? Legon students.
Currently, Legon is number 1 in Ghana. Yes, but in West Africa, you're also saying.
Still number 1.
Hallelujah. So what I want to say is we should try.
Great.
We should try and make sure we go all out.
Good.
And help Maradona win this. So your expectations, you bet my yamau. In terms of accommodation crisis, it's not something new in my field. We're doing it. Real estate is my core business. So with that, we'll be able to solve it. And also most of the challenges. A lot is happening on campus. I can't brief about everything. But like I said, I'll come here so we speak about my policies. We will delve into it.
Yeah, we need to get into that. And then ask you a lot more on the house, how to do the
of course, a lot goes into it.
Yeah.
And so a lecturer asked, he was like, why are you embarking on this? And I told him, yes, I've been here for like 2-3 years.
Okay.
And I've seen the challenge through accommodation, even transportation and all that. I've seen the students struggle. And I feel so bad, like, so is it every time all I can do is to just support the few ones around me? What about those, the unseen and unknown people? And these are my core fans. I pull up on these shows and they turn up crazy. Everywhere goes wild. So this is the little I can do. Help them.
Awesome.
So this is what I'm doing for this whole agenda is to help University of Ghana students.
Great.
So if you want that change, that you see, before coming there was sort of like aura, euphoria around University of Ghana, but getting in there, the reality is different. Now the school, though the VC's vice chancellor, she's doing her best, turning the whole most of these halls, the lecture halls, into ultra modern standard. I've seen it, but she needs support. You see, in Sabakun Katenya Mieni. And per my pedigree in the society, I can help project and also help bring more to the school.
Andrew is an old student of UG.
Hey, Chairman.
you didn't listen
to
that.
I was all about the hall, Yo, Chairman.
But I want him to maybe share his opinion on the Guru brand. I know you've been observing or monitoring his progress from way back to now. In 1 minute, how would you describe his brand now?
I mean, until recently, I would always, think of Guru as the musician, the man who has been entertaining us for the past decade and more, if I'm not lying.
Yes.
And he has hit music, quite a bit of them, and so these are what I would ascribe to the brand Guru. Now, sitting here and listening to him, you know that this man is made of many other parts that we didn't know, that his fans didn't even know.
Exactly, yeah.
And this is what in brand we call brand extension.
Okay.
And while he was speaking, you could sense that he knows who he is, which is very fundamental in building a brand. You know your core.
Wow.
You know what your aspirations are. You know what your focus is, right? He talked about helping humanity. If he can play music and he can help people to ease their stress and give them excitement, then when he goes to UN, it's the same core fundamental that same core principle that is going to show there. So, but maybe from the UN perspective, he wants to reach a larger number of people than just in Ghana. So, listening to him, it's I've been following the story about him, running for SRC and all of that, and it's quite intriguing sitting here and listening to him project all of this, and this truly talks about someone who knows who he is, but he's not limiting his capabilities or his aspirations only to music. So if he's built a strong brand for music and he can articulate, which is what most persons right are unable to do, if you can articulate who you are beyond your music brand, then everywhere you go, people will ascribe what they know you, what your core is in music, to everything else that you do. And that is what I think he's done eloquently here this afternoon.
Awesome.
That's
Andrew
it.
Aka there. Yeah, this man is a big man. So
Yeah,
saying
man,
these
senior,
words about
Charlie.
you.
Senior,
That's a great
we
one.
also do tip buff for man. Oh, baby. How can say you jack? I mean, my koto cry pad me come duff for manana. And I shout out now our to V made too.
You see that thing?
Yeah,
Guru,
yeah,
so your
yeah,
last
yeah.
words before you run
Anyway,
to Cape Coast,
Yes. Madam say I appreciate the love and support. You see, one Ghana, one music.
Yeah.
I know there is a lot happening around the world, and I know music fraternity is also trying in their best to also catch up. Yeah, Matisa 142 blow. Yeah, but these are my guys. They love whatever they do, and I appreciate them. They should keep up hitting up the fire. One way they are competing. Yes, that's what music is about. Challenge, competition. But with SRC, Lagos Nights, yes, University of Ghana. I love you guys so much. I'll forever represent you on any platform, any day, anytime.
Awesome.
No matter what. So I want you guys all to get involved, be part of my campaign agenda, so we make Legon great again. Yes.
Thank you very much, Guru, for coming.
My shout outs. Big shout outs to the VC Professor Nanaba Apia Amfu, Pro VC. Professor Wandari, and then Dean of Students, Professor Rosina Tremanting, and Professor Jampo, and my core team. Yes, they are doing so well.
Awesome.
Yes. Me do you know the person me bomb. Me mamu na mukushi omukobo minye. So big shout outs to all the V-mates, the diaspora everywhere. Obibi or hear me. But tonight is all about Cape Coast. I'm doing it.
TGMA Experience concert. Yeah.
I'll be on stage. So my fans across the world. VGMA. No, not VGMA.
TGMA.
Hey, they're crazy. Yeah, they're GMA. Me and Koyedi. Yeah, I have a song out which is a Nyangwa. Hey, and it's last year, Blue Dada. And now we have Ye featuring Mr. Drew.
Oh, really?
And Fancy
I
Gadam.
need to
Master
find
one
a
more
song right now.
And we went to Yes, anyway, my social pages, Twitter Guru NKZ, Facebook Guru NKZ, everywhere Guru NKZ. Big shout outs to my Lagos Nights, my Lagos fans. Bye bye.
Yes, yeah, that's a baby.
Go Lola.
Mami na me pasta. Yeah. Boys are bread. Yeah, Pastor.
Now, what comes to mind when you hear the word brand or branding?
Intimate them your opinion.
Is it all about wearing expensive clothes?
One more suffer
Or
compound.
maybe having a weird, a catchy name?
Time for come wow. Intimate from the Bible. They struggle.
I know some people who think that having a brand means that you look so nice. Yeah?
Yeah, Pastor.
Now we get to know the real meanings of all these right here on the show today.
Yeah, Pastor. Yeah, Pastor.
We have in the studio Andrew Aka, who is a branding and marketing communications expert and also president of the Advertising Association of Ghana. Andrew Aka is right here. And then my uncle, Uncle Ken, veteran broadcaster. Uncle Ken, yeah. Welcome back, revitalized.
Week in, week out.
Yeah, man.
Who catch a telephone to say Uncle Ken, veteran broadcaster.
You, Ming Reda. We are veteran. Free of him da. Afibo. Welcome back.
It's good to be back. Yes, but I am Mamma Kwana Mingoje Mahome or Mountains Kakra.
And 2 weeks, yeah.
And from Mano, yeah.
2 weeks, a year, dodo. A year. Thank you, and 1 week in
Mpo.
2 weeks, a year.
It's good to be back.
Yeah,
Charlie.
good to have
And
you back.
It's good to see Andrew.
Yes.
This gentleman.
He's a big man. He's a big man.
Something else.
Today we're talking about branding, and we've been hearing a lot of people use the word branding to describe artists. Sometimes they say, oh, this guy, his brand is no good. This one, his brand is good. What really is branding or a brand? Now, let me start by asking this question. Let me throw this question to Andrew. Please, when we say branding, please break these two words down for us from your perspective.
Okay. Thank you, Kwame. Okay, so I'll start with this. With this analogy. I want to start with the definition first.
Good.
If you had to take the top 10 bottled water in Ghana and you pour them in a glass and you did what we call blind tasting, I'm pretty certain that you can't find a difference between any of the, unless you're a very ardent drinker of a particular water that you have spent time and energy to really understand, your palate understand that particular water. You will not be able to differentiate between all of them. So it is the perceptions that we have ascribed to that particular product that usually we call a brand, right? So a brand in essence is just a collective or collection of perceptions that anyone ascribes to anything. A couple of months ago I was having a similar lecture, and I said anything and everything can be branded as long as you have a perception about something. Now that perception could be good or bad, it could be big or little, it could be anything, but once you have a perception that you can describe to one person, remember that you said Uncle Ken is a veteran broadcaster. That in itself is a brand, which means that he's coming from a strong heritage background of understanding his game or speaking about his craft. And so that word goes to define him beyond what is in Uncle Ken himself.
Which word?
Sorry.
The veteran.
Yes, the veteran that you really didn't like. So the branding is actually the science of putting this brand together. Yeah, so it is the science and the act of doing it, because there's a whole science behind, brand and how to get it to the point that you aspire that particular brand, to be.
Does every artist in this regard have a brand?
Whether you like it or not, you're a brand. You can even, sometimes you hear products are unbranded. They are actually brands. Unbranded products are also brands. Just that they don't have fancy names and they don't have how do you call it? They don't have related identities or nice packaging or whatever, but they're actually brands. So whether you like it or not, once you start to develop a craft, you have a brand. The brand could be unknown because you really haven't had time to hone it, position yourself well, and be able to communicate properly to your target audience. So if you say, oh, then it means that he hasn't taken time to really understand himself. He hasn't taken time to understand his target and what they want him or they want her to do for them, so that he can actually get that done and also help him or her to grow on that trajectory that they actually project for themselves. So whether you're an artist or you're an actor or you're any person anywhere, you actually are a brand.
Wow. So what goes into putting together or creating, if you like, a creative brand, be it a musician, be it an actor, whatever?
Yeah. So I'll start. It's about a lot about psychology, right? So it goes this way, right? An act becomes a behavior becomes a character becomes a personality. Now, for marketing persons, if you ask them what a brand is, they will always try to equate it to a personality. Because once you know a person, you know how to relate to them. You know what they like, you know what they don't like. You define clearly what that person wants and what that person doesn't want. So it goes in this format. So anyone who wants to be good at whatever you're doing, you need to understand that people know your behavior through your acts. And once they see that behavior go over, you replicate those behavior over and over again, it becomes your character. Now, you can have one character in one area of your life and have another character in another area of your life. But once people get to know all different characteristics of your person, they put it together into your personality. That means that the moment you mention this name, there are various things that people think about. I'm sure when there's some artist, right? If you go to their fan base and you mention it, everybody will be rooting. Yeah. But you tell them, people like, same person, right? Different characters. So the personality seem different to different people. What in branding you try to do is to have that harmony between your various characters, so that you bring all of them to have one harmonized personality. Because that is usually when you have focus, it is easier for you to ride on that projection of that personality and be able to drive whichever growth or drive whichever aspirations that you have for yourself.
How important is the name you choose to your brand or to the branding process? Let's say I'm a poet. I choose a name like Kwame Dadzie.
Yes.
What? I don't know how to put it. How do you know this name suits the type of genre you're doing and your personality? How do you figure that out?
So you have to go back and start from what is the story, right, that I want to tell people?
Yes.
What is my story?
Yes.
And within your story would be, you don't have to craft your story at the beginning. You just need to have an ambition or an aspiration. If you're a musician, you need to have a story. I want to be the number one hit person. I want to, I want 50 of my first, 20 albums to be number one Billboard. Whatever it is, that aspiration, that is what you start, right? Then you begin to craft the other things around that. So first, you need to know clearly what your skills are, right? Okay. So you want to be a musician. What are you skilled in? Is it rap? Is it singing? Is it, you need to understand your skill, the various type of skills that you do have. Now, once you have that skill set, of course, definitely you know the genre that you're going to play in, or the genres that you're going to be playing in, right? Then you need to figure out who are the best people, so teamwork, who can assemble the best resources around me to be able to enhance this, this brand or this personality that I want to, aspire to become within the genre, which means that surrounding your people, your network of producers and script writers and, all of them, songwrite, all of them, you need to know that. Now, once you know that these are the people around you, you need to understand, how am I positioning myself? Because every rapper has a different type of positioning. Am I positioning myself as a no-nonsense rowdy, always in your face, or I'm positioning myself as somebody who is, who has, if you mention Kofi Kinate, you know exactly what his songs are about, right? It's family, oriented. It's common to people. It's not high end. He's not talking about cars and money and all of that. So you need to define all these, things around you. Then the name choice is also quite critical. because there's something, from a creative point of view, there's something about name that resonates very well with people.
Good.
And so you need to understand the science of putting a name together. You don't have to use your house name or your name, the name that was given to you. You can choose that. Now there are persons who are well versed in this to understand what that is. The name actually should represent your aspirations and where you're coming from. So that it's something that people can help you to really address and pick up a name. In terms of the imagery that you want to put out there, it's also quite critical. Do you always want to be seen in media as somebody who is strong, or somebody who is gentle, or somebody who is more caring? All these things will help in even how to craft the content that you put on social media, X, Y, Z. So you need to have your plan, and you need to help people to craft that plan. But the end goal should always be here, right? I want to stay in this. There are people who come into this game and say, look, I'm only doing this for 10 years, meaning that they only have 10 years to craft whatever it is that they want. And so they have to go through that fine line of defining who they are, understand their skill, know where they want to play, know where they don't want to play, because that also comes with brand confusion. Know where you want to play and where you don't want to play, and then get the network of people around you who can help you to craft that particular thing or music out. And then also understand how to utilize your media platforms to enhance that, right? Including whether you have your own blog, or you have your own podcast, or you have your social media handles, what content to put there, how to put there, and all of these things. There's science behind that, right? So all these things do culminate into you having the brand that is, there's nothing like a good brand, the brand that you want people to perceive you for, and how you consistently, promote that, to them meaning the target.
Okay, let me cite this example. An up-and-coming artist, I won't mention his name. He bears an indigenous two Ghanaian names. And according to him, his management is saying that he needs to change his name to something more modern, if you like, something that can resonate well with the Gen Zs and the youth. So, but he says he does high life, and he thinks that his name fits the high life genre. A person like this, what advice do you have for him? He wants to use his traditional Ghanaian name. Management says he should use something that is very relatable to the youth and to the Gen Zs, because he's in our times. He says, I'm doing high life.
The dichotomy here is that, your brand is actually made up of your character, as I stated earlier on, the perception that you have about your own self, which is very important, and the perceptions that people have about you. So you can't ignore what people will think when your name goes out and it doesn't resonate with them. But you also can't ignore who you are, right? Because having a great perception about yourself is also being authentic to your own self. If you think that you want your brand to be authentic, no matter how people think about it, this is who I am and I'm sticking to the core. Please stick to that name, because that is in you. That is you. That makes you happy. That drives the rest of your aspirations. So you need to make a clear, distinction between who I am, what I want to project out, and who my managers want me to be for them. If they want me to be for me, then they should understand why I want to stick to this.
But Andrew, Kwame, can I pose a question to Andrew? Yes.
Yeah.
Andrew, with this example that Kwame just gave, wouldn't you then say that the artist is with the wrong management?
Not necessarily.
Because he wants to do something else, opposed to what
the management wants him to do.
Desires.
Yeah.
So there's going to be conflict.
Yeah. It could be.
And as far as I'm concerned, then it means that he's with the wrong management.
It could be, but I'm sure that we also don't have enough information to come to that conclusion.
That's what I'm saying. From my point of view, why would I have a management?
But that's why you have a management.
Yes, why would I have a management, Kwame?
To also help you decide what is good for your brand.
No, I know what I am made of, like he said.
Why did you go for them then?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying he made a wrong choice. There's a possibility he made a wrong choice, because otherwise there should be no conflict.
Yes.
Maybe continue,
if the management is doing the right things, right? In terms of on the music side,
promotion,
but it's about the
everything.
name, and there's a kind of conflict between that. I think both will need to sit down.
Yeah.
And for me, I would say there are other things that you need to consider, right? Have you sat down to really understand, where this artist want to go to? Because sometimes the managers feel it is their responsibility. No, it is not just your responsibility.
Yeah.
The responsibility lies heavily, on that artist. So you need to be able to understand, why do you want him to change his name? There's a reason why, right?
Oh, Kwame, so the issue was about name change.
Name change.
Name
yeah.
change.
Not about genre of music that
No.
he wants to
No,
project.
name
Okay.
change.
Name change.
Okay.
He has two
Okay,
traditional
I get it
Ghanaian
now.
names. He does
I get
high
it.
life music. Very young guy, but
I get that.
25-year-old.
Okay. I thought it
And
had
the team
to do
says no.
with the genre of music
No.
that he was
The
also
name.
Yes.
The name.
The name.
The
Okay.
name.
So I mean, they should sit down. I feel the management should truly understand what this artist truly want, because sometimes people are unable to articulate their aspirations, and you need to really speak to them. It's like going to a psychologist. You don't know who you are until you meet, somebody with a scientific view to really get to know who you are. So I think that there needs to be a lot more conversation and discussion to understand, what drives you, what is inside of you, what do you want to do, why do you want to stick to this name, who do you want to project, right? Who do you want to reach? All these things would have to be discussed. I mean, and it must be done dispassionately, because this, these processes are actually founded with data and with information. It's not an emotional discussion that, I feel like. No, you can't feel like that. You need to use, you need to use data and science to determine
Exactly.
that. In fact, you could actually do what in creative they call the testing. You can create 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different names and go out there and test it with people. Hey, if you had an artist who was this age coming from this place and he had a name like this, what do you think? And you can test it. Like creative designers will create a copy and actually go out there and test it to get response. Out of the response, they pick, and of course the methodology, can be vetted. So that the results you're getting is great. And with that, you can decide that this is the direction we're going to go, because when we tested it, a lot of people like this. So don't let it be an emotional tussle between the management and the artist. They really need to be dispassionate and discuss these things and get the best, the best line.
Kwame, you know something.
Yes, I was even coming to you.
Oh.
Okay.
I've always said that there is nothing else on a Saturday afternoon that I'll give up my time for than this show.
Yeah.
Than this show.
Yeah.
Because the sort of people I meet on this show, your ridiculous producer, yourself.
Please mention his name.
No, I don't even like mentioning his name, but the people know his name, Philip Nye from Labadi. And the people I come to meet on the show, they make me feel so good, and they put me through education.
Yeah.
And it enhances my thinking of so many issues. So I don't mind giving up my Saturday afternoons to come and sit here just to learn. And I'm enjoying this conversation with Andrew, because I've told you from the beginning that this geezer, he knows his stuff.
He does. We just started.
Yes,
Kid.
and we've just started. But I want to pose a question. From what he has said so far,
Yes.
I just want to find out whether the musicians or the artists, let me say artists, in Ghana can afford to go through what you have just enumerated for somebody to determine a brand.
The brand.
Because
Absolutely.
Because I think it will involve a lot of resources. Because you see, an artist has to know their target audience.
Exactly.
Okay, how do they determine their target audience? By themselves. If they don't come through people like you, and do they have the resources to come through people like you?
Yeah. So I would say that branding is a continuum. It's this. There's not a perfect line journey that you start day one and you know all your targets.
Okay.
Right. It's a process, and it's a journey. and it takes a bit of time. The artists that, I'm sure that, when some of these, media handles, they throw this photo, then you see this artist and you look how skinny they were, and and they throw back, like, can you mention who this
Before
artist
and
is?
after.
Yeah, before and after.
Before and after.
Like that they've gone through a journey. So you
Yeah.
in crafting a brand, it's a process, it's a journey. It
Okay.
doesn't end, right? So you don't have to start by getting all the expertise in the world. You don't have money to do that. Just like in business, you don't start your business day one and you put money in advertising. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
One, you need to produce the thing. You need to go through all your costs. Packaging, you need to get to know where your target are. Distribution. These things are so expensive that you cannot just start day one and advertise. The same
Exactly.
thing goes with an artist, right? So let your music sell you. Once you begin to rake in, the necessary proceeds, then while you are doing that, also understand, your brand, all the stuff that I've spoken about, who you are, your skill set, additional skill set that you need, how you're going to surround yourself with the right network to push you to where you are. Once you begin to proceed, just like businesses do, they put 5% of their profit in research and development and marketing.
Serious
Yeah.
businesses.
Yes, serious businesses. So once you're an artist and you begin to rake in money, please don't use it to buy, all the latest fashion and vehicles and and houses and all of that. Know that you need to invest in your brand, and investing in your brand is part of the process that I'm talking about. Really understanding the craft of projecting who you are, cementing your positioning to people. Like, when people see me, what do they want? You can even say that, in the next 5 years, I want to create some mystery about me, right? What does mystery do? Mystery means that people will want to find you.
Okay.
Right? So people want to dig and know more about you. The least thing you do, everyone wants to follow you, right? And so you need to, spend that time, take that time to invest in that brand that you're building. And again, this is where I think that you can get other expertise to support you in the process. At the beginning, it will be tough because you don't have the necessary resources to do that. Yeah.
Nice one. I find artists in Ghana. So my next question, Kwame, would be, how do you determine the brands of, let's say, artists in Ghana, or say musicians? Let me narrow it down to musicians. How do we determine the brands of musicians in Ghana? Is it by the content they produce?
Yeah.
Is it by the way they dress?
Dress.
Is it by the way the cars they drive?
How they
what
how
is-
they how they behave.
Thank you, and that's very important
Yeah.
to me.
So it is only the target audience who can determine what brand it is.
Wow.
Because there are some brands that when you mention their name, they are diehard fans. I'm sure when you go to Nima, when you go to Ashaman, and the artist I'm talking
Of
about,
course, yeah.
These guys have their way they define this brand, whether you like it or not.
That's
do
their-
or die. Uncle Ken, you and me sitting here, we can have a different perception about that brand. It really doesn't matter.
Right.
Because they are not targeting you and I.
Right.
They're targeting the people who are part of
Yeah.
their community and their
Yeah.
fan base. So they're the only people who can determine what sort of brand or value they ascribe to this.
Right.
And that's why knowing your target is very important. Because if you know your target, you know the music, you know where they hang out, you go to where they hang out, you know what their aspirations are, you know how many times they want to see you, you know how many times they want to interact with you, you know how they're going to fight for you when you post anything on social media. So only the target audience can determine what sort of brand that they, or what sort of perception they ascribe to that particular audience. Any other person who doesn't fall within that core target, they really don't.
It's not important.
Nah, they really don't care.
It's
You can
realm
say
of
anything
things.
about them. That's why.
Forget it.
That's why
Yeah.
when those of us sit outside of the target audience of particular artists, right?
Yeah.
We begin to say all these things. The artists
Right.
look at you and they're laughing like, you don't know my people. My people they are the fan base. They are the people who hold me.
And the artist will tell you.
They will tell you, but
Exactly.
they know who their people are. If you're an artist and you don't know who your community is, you're lost. And once you know your community, they know what they want you to do for them. And once you do that, look, you will survive for the rest of your life.
So that
Or for the-
informs your
for-
brand.
That informs your brand, because you know what? Knowing your target is very important. What do the people within that community want? They want to see you show off.
Yeah.
Right? They want to see your cars. They want to see. So that some of the artists don't even do it because they want to do it. They do it because that is the calling of the target audience.
Right.
And what do we do in marketing? Who do we please?
Please,
The consumer is the key.
Yeah.
So if the target wants us to be this way and they support us when we do that, that is how they're going to continue. Because if they don't do, they're going to lose that target audience.
Get it
They're going to
interesting.
shift to somewhere else.
Get it interesting. You're Joy 99.7 FM, and we're live on myjoyonline.com, Facebook Joy 99.7 FM, on X Spaces Joy 99.7. So just go there and listen to us. Share the link for others to also get to listen to us as well. Just join us as President of Ghana Music Alliance, Seven Xavier, and he has been into artist management before. Yeah, Chase and other people. Now let me come to you before I come to Andrew again. So, whose duty is it to brand an artist? Artist manager, I'm asking you. Former artist manager.
Yeah, I'll definitely say. Well, the funny thing is, we still have the problem where we can't differentiate between artist management and record labels. But it was more of a record label thing. But anyway, so I'll definitely say the record label, because the record label knows what they want to put out, even before they sign a person. Because let's say you have a sarcodier and on your label, there's no way going to looking out for another sarcodier. You are definitely looking for a look or a particular thing, because you want to attract a certain demography or something. So you know who to go out for. So definitely the label will have enough say in how the person should look like. But at the same time,
in this country,
anywhere really,
that we don't have
a
enough
record label.
record
record
labels.
yes,
We have
record labels where
management
like
companies.
competing
How
record
is
labels
that
and
possible? Yeah.
yeah, in this environment, I think a lot of labels or talent, people who scout talent, we really go for whatever we get, and then from there, you have to come up with a strategy and see how best to attract whoever. Like, let's say if you're, I'm just speculating, but let's say whoever had say a kitty and a Kim Promise,
Yeah.
I would definitely say they would have something similar. They're
Okay. Yeah,
both
sure.
targeting, because of this style of music and a couple of other things. Let's say I don't think anybody would want to sign a Familia and would want to have him competing with
Kim Promise or
it wouldn't work out. So whoever you go in for, definitely you have an idea of what you want to achieve. And also me personally, it's always about the brands that person can actually attract, because
the
trust me,
individual artist.
yeah, the individual artists, the brands that they can attract, because there's not much money going on anywhere
You
else.
mean
but
corporate brands?
corporate brands, yeah,
Okay.
corporate brands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's not much going on, but we need to get a corporate money, so it's all part of the plan for me, master plan. Yeah, like if I should know who that particular artist will be able to attract, and then I'll also be attracted
Wow.
to get in them. Yeah, let me tell you a funny story. There's a
Okay.
a top artist, right? And years ago, they wanted to launch an album, and I mean, by all standards, he was at the time a top artist. And his management approached Mercedes Benz for basically have a car, not even payment. It's not like they wanted money.
Yeah.
They just wanted a car that he would use for like 3 days or 4 days, or the rounds that he'll be doing. And Mercedes said, "Oh, he's not the image we're looking for." And because I know exactly why they said that, because he has dreadlocks.
Wow.
But I'm not going to say who the artist is. But I'm sure
Please
you
don't
definitely.
mention. Don't mention.
Yeah,
But
but
you've narrowed it down.
I've narrowed it
don't
down
mention
a
to
lot.
Dreadlocks.
Dreadlocks. So it's one of those things. Like, you should know what you want the artist to attract. And after a few tries in the industry, you will know what is what. You know what is what. Yeah.
Wow. Let me ask a question that I posed to Andrew and Uncle Ken earlier on. A young guy, about 25-year-old high life artist, has 2 traditional Ghanaian names, and the management says that he should change the name to something that can resonate well with the youth, young people. Is it the right thing for the team to say? The management to say?
Well, I don't know what exactly the name is. Is it
Like two names like mine, like Kwame Dadzie, like something like that, traditional names.
Okay.
He's a high life artist.
Okay.
And they want him to use some, your name, if you like.
Well, I want to give the benefit of the doubt to the label, saying that they know what they're looking for. Because at the end of the day, when once an artist signs that, you're basically the property of the label, and you're a product. So it's up to them, however they want to depict your music videos, depict your graphics, depict how you even have to talk or even have answer questions during interviews and everything else. If things are done properly, I mean, everything is up to them.
Wow. Joy 99.7 FM, we're having a conversation on artist branding. What really goes into that? You can send in your questions to 05511119997 on X. We are live on X Spaces, on Facebook Live, Joy 99.7 FM, and on myjoyonline.com. We have in the studio Uncle Ken, who is a broadcaster here at Joy FM.
Left out the way.
Yeah. Veteran.
You intentionally left out the way.
Veteran broadcaster. Then we also have Andrew Aka, who is a marketing and communications, branding and marketing communications expert, and also president of Advertising Association of Ghana. Seven Xavier is president of Ghana Music Alliance. Now, let me come to you, Andrew, again. So, we have various things that come together to form a brand. We just mentioned the name. Now, assuming we have a rogue personality, an artist that does things, in an aggressive manner, always causing troubles and all that, and people say, oh, this guy doesn't know how to dress. He needs to be putting on suit and tie and all those things. Does the genre of music, does the personality conform to the type of dressing that you should do, the genre of music you do, and all that? Because of late, we've been hearing people talk about a young artist telling the media and telling people on social media the fact that the guy doesn't dress well because he wears some hat. And this is a very calm gentleman who is maybe living how he is. So I just want to know from you, Andrew, if the personality of the individual should inform how he dresses, or maybe the genre of music he does should also inform his type of dressing.
So I said earlier, man, know thyself, know who you are, and after knowing who you are, know who your target is, right? So if your target, they dress in a certain way, they want to see you in a certain way, and that is the kind of the cultural, nuance that particular target is going through. They like to dress in a certain way, they like to look in a certain way, and they're the people that you're appealing to. You need to make sure that you are having that, you are harmonious with them, or something close to that. You can't be appealing to your target and be totally off when it comes to certain characteristics. But that should be the norm. But there are artists who've also done things quite differently, and they are loved for that. Some of these things, there are risks that artists do take, that sometimes it works for them, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people will begin to even love the fact that you didn't conform, right, within your target room, and they'll follow you back because this guy, especially if their character is very strong-willed, very resistant, revolutionary in their mindset as part of that whole cohort and their thinking, they wouldn't even mind that this guy is a non-conformist. He does what he loves. Now we're going to focus on his music and make sure that we support him and all of that. But these are all risks that you need to take. But naturally, from a natural point of view, you want to make sure that you are aligning with your target as much as possible. And that's what big brands do. Big brands that's why they're always talking to consumers. How can we be better? What can we do to improve? How do you want to see us, right? And what are your aspirations, so we can meet you at your point of aspiration? What would excite you? How do you want to experience me a lot more, right? These feedbacks allow brands to also kind of, tone themselves, right? And make sure that they change and mold themselves to suit that particular consumer, because at the end, there's a consumer that matters. If people don't stream your music, if people don't follow you and pass comment, if people don't share, if people don't click on your videos on YouTube and all of that, you don't get to close the deal. That's make the money that you want. So you always want to be as close as possible to what your target is looking at for you. But sometimes artists are bold enough to take risk and say that, what, I know what you want, but I'm also carving something different for myself. But from the aesthetic point of view, you want to look clean. This is not even branding per se. You want to look clean, you want to look decent. And decent, I'm not talking. You can have dreadlocks and keep it clean.
Exactly.
You can have beard and keep it clean. I mean, there's certain fundamentals that you need to follow. Be clean, be neat. Smell good. Feel. I'm not talking expensive stuff. Basic stuff that would appeal to any natural human being.
What if the artist brand is not to smell good?
I doubt if there any
sure
set of
there
people
Or not to look good.
No, I doubt if there any set of people who don't want people to smell good, right? So then I don't know who these targets are, because natural. I'm not saying that they themselves may not be smelling good, but they cannot not want you to smell good.
I understand
what
you.
is the benefit for them for you not smelling good?
Yeah.
What is the benefit for them seeing that always you're dirty? Is it because you're also you get it? So there's some basic human, things, nuance that we all would want.
Yeah.
Any person that
Andrew,
we aspire to be.
there is a word in English, weird.
Yes.
There are certain people
Who are weird.
Yes.
And when you are weird,
Yes.
it means that what you do is unimaginable.
Yeah.
Most
Uncle,
artists.
can you give us a couple of examples?
Like what
One
he was
Love.
trying to say.
I think One Love is a typical example. One of the
What he was trying to say. There might be people who would just want to appear dirty to attract a certain audience.
Let me cite.
And if the audience wasn't there, he wouldn't do it all.
Yeah.
But he knows the audience is there.
Let me cite the former AY Poyu.
Uh-huh.
Bare-chested with some goats, man. And that was his
What
brand,
type
then.
of goat was he?
The Billy Goat.
Billy Goat.
Oh, a billy
Yeah.
goat.
Yeah.
Not an aponchi.
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 And you know that typical aponchis have scent. Do they not?
They
Yeah.
do.
7
They
aponchi.
do.
I mean, being weird is part of creativity,
Okay.
right? So there are a lot
Okay.
of artists who are quite weird. I mean, I'm moving out of Ghana because we don't have a lot of examples. I mean, if you look at somebody like Saya, nobody has actually
Yeah.
seen her face.
Yeah.
Because she says that it's my music that I want people
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
know me for,
Yeah.
not my person.
Yeah.
I mean, Daft Punk is always wearing that. I don't know who has actually seen their face, right? There are artists that you wouldn't get to see because to them, they want to remove their person from their
What they
craft.
do.
That would be seen as weird or mysterious. There are those who are always in your face with something ridiculous, you can't mention names, right? But they always.
Kwame, can we mention
it's like a.
Yes,
it's
I
like
think we
a
can mention
billboard. I
names.
mean, like if
I comment my reserve.
if you have.
I'm being tempted.
Please don't go there.
You know,
You don't want a live video now, we beg.
Their weirdness could be in their lifestyle. It could be in their music, in their type of music. It could be in the choices of fashion or in how they talk, or everything else, or anything else that they choose to be weird.
Yeah.
Thing about weirdness with creativity. Most creatives are weird people. To be
Yes,
honest with you.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
They are
You
not.
need that.
I work with some creative people that keep saying that they are not meant to be normal because of the depth with which they can go and pull these incredible stuff
Yeah.
out. So some take advantage of their weirdness to enhance that, to other forms because it actually feeds them and it feeds their soul and it keeps them grounded. It keeps them wanting to do more, of those things. So you need to, at the end of the day, some target are forgiving. They'll know that. I'm sure there's some artists that when he says something, everybody will like Charlie say, "Wait, why would him say?" They forgive him for
Who
the fact
forgives
that.
him?
No, I mean, normal people forgive. Say,
Normal
this guy is
people.
gonna-
Oh, their target.
Their target
audience.
will forgive
Their
him.
Yes.
community.
Yes.
Or the larger,
Oh, I am
stakeholding
Modino.
community. The larger
Let me
stakeholding
seek permission from my producer.
no, the larger stakeholding committee can forgive because like this guy, he's used to that.
Yeah.
So they fees on him and you want to do some more, right? So it's being weird in itself doesn't create any value. It depends on what you want to do at the end of the day. How you want to either monetize that or how you want that to help
Utilize the.
Yeah.
help utilize
Yes,
some
the
other
benefits.
goal or aspirations that you have that really matters, but
Wow.
not the fact that you choose to be weird. No.
Let me come to 7. Have you seen Safu Newman?
Yeah, I have actually. I have.
Is he a brand?
S-
Does it need rebranding?
Does he need rebranding?
as an artist manager?
I don't know what their people are going for, because the thing is, just like an artist manager or people behind these artists are also creatives, and everybody has their own thing, because you don't really know exactly what the end goal is.
Yeah,
they probably do, and I think it's NYB Live who's doing that. So I wouldn't want to say he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm hoping he knows exactly what he's doing with him. So, but if you ask me if he needs rebranding, if it was me, I'd probably do it different. If it was some other manager, they'll probably do it different. If it was Bulldog or now Bulldog, he'll probably do it different. So it depends on which management or whoever, and how they want to approach.
Kwame,
listening. I'll come to you. Listening to his music and his personality, looking at his personality and all that. Do you think the kind of dressing that he puts out there suits the music and his personality? Because people think that he should be polished.
Well, see, the thing is, to me, I don't think any musician that you find, whatever they are doing, that will be the final product, the final output. Like, if you as a label or as a management know exactly what you're doing, there's always a lot of polishing that comes with even the music.
Okay.
Even the music. Of course, how I've seen him on on TV and other places, and I don't think he's ready to be on certain platforms.
He's not ready to be on certain platforms.
Because certain platforms.
He can't be here.
Oh well, it depends on. Well, I'm talking like in terms of performance.
Performance,
yeah,
okay.
In terms of performance, yeah.
Okay.
Like it's probably
Okay.
he needs a bit of rehearsal to
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah,
So even
get
away
there.
from his personality,
Away
as
from
he
his
is-
personality. I mean, I worked. My first artist I ever worked was One Love, so I'm okay with personalities being
how they want to be.
haywire. One Love, Mensa, and really diverse people.
Yeah.
Actually, even once we met a girl who was so weird. One Love was even shocked at
Are
how
you
where she
serious?
was. Yeah, so
you mean one of the shocked?
I was so shocked at how that person was. That's how crazy it is. Yeah, but
Another wonder of the world.
but yeah. So to me, it's really, I know. The thing is, everybody and what they think they want to see. The audience wants. What does the audience want to see? I don't know. But if they control the music, because people come with demos. I remember. People come with demos. I remember. Sometimes I don't think I'm supposed to say these things, but
don't worry.
a while ago, I was on my way to YFM, and I met this girl coming down from the stairs. When they were upstairs.
Yeah.
And she gave me a DVD, and I didn't even look at it. She was trying to talk. I just walked up, and then when I got there, I met what's his name? Nokus.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
Probably
problem,
shouldn't have mentioned the name, but anyway. So I get there, and he had a bunch of CDs and DVDs on the desk, and I was like, this person be like, just come out from here. You listen to the song. Oh yeah, give me some. Give me left like 3 for here. So I was like, oh okay. Then so if you Adam, and he took a garbage bag and we just threw everything inside, and the girl was Ebony.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's At the time, the look was
Wow.
different. The music, he just didn't like it. So yeah, to me, like raw artists you definitely need some polishing. Probably need to work with like new producers. Do this.
Okay.
It's probably not necessary, but I'd like to put artists to stress. Like, you come overly happy with what you're doing, then I can tell you, there's these other possibilities we can do. Let's see which one would fit best. Because at the end of the day, it is all about money coming back in. So I need to make sure brands will look at you and like you. I need to make sure like money goes into these things, right?
Okay.
Money goes, because I'm not sure how good he is in terms of like recording and stuff. But I remember at the time when things were kind of cheap, Waxy was charging like 100 CDs, a studio session, and you probably book like an 8-hour block, and you still won't get one song out.
Yeah.
You still won't get one good song out. So you're talking days and days or coming. You don't know when a good day will be where you get something, or which even producer you pair with that artist to get you that magic. So when these things happen, like, you are looking at maximizing whatever you can get. So okay, depending on who it is, some people really. I'll definitely say not everybody knows the job to the certain point, but at the end of the day, we all trying to get the same money from all these corporate brands.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of excuses from brand marketing managers why they probably won't use this certain artist or that certain artist or the other certain artist. So when I'm coming in, I'm making sure my artist is not going that route.
Okay.
You're not using certain languages on your song. You're not behaving a certain way. You are what the brand. So certain brands should tell me that your guy doesn't fit our brand. Like you should be universal enough to fit a couple other ones, from juice beverages to, let's say, telcos to this to that to that. So, but at the end of the day, I also ultimately believe the music first and foremost speaks for itself,
Okay.
for you. And even before you get fan bases and everything, they should love your music. Like it has something that they hear and then they tune in. And if you're boring, they would just switch off. Or if you are interesting to them, like he said, community. Having a community is the thing now. They don't even call them fan bases anymore. They call them community.
Community.
Like, yeah, basically, yeah. The term fan base is like dead right now. Like, it has to be community.
Fan army.
Yeah,
Army.
I mean, it has to be like a community. So, and it's hard work. Like, I'll definitely give it to any artist who is bold enough to try and do this thing called music, because Charlie, it
Wonderful.
will work.
Wonderful. I'll come to you, Andrew, but let me go to Uncle Kenneth.
Yes.
Before I come to Andrew. Yeah.
Kwame,
Yes, sir.
I'm happy you brought this particular issue up, because when the producer sent me the topic for discussion this afternoon, somewhere in the topic was about this. What's his name again? Newman? Safu Newman.
Yeah.
When the producer sent me the thing and I read it, I said, who is this? Because I didn't know about the gentleman. So what did I have to do? I had to do some research to find out a little bit about the gentleman. And then I found out that here was a gentleman. I always had one of these hats,
Yeah, the beanies.
Yeah.
on his head. And
He's
the
very
point-
reserved.
the point you did not want to make
Okay, please make it.
was that it was Shatawale
Oh,
who
okay.
actually said that he needed branding, because the hat he was wearing, as far as he was concerned, was not good enough. This was a comment made, but this is the research I made, and this is what I found out. So I'm finding it
Please say
difficult
your
to-
research, please.
I'm
You are allowed.
finding
Go
it
all
diffi-
out.
I'm finding it difficult to understand why you guys did not want to mention who brought him up in this conversation. It was Shatawale who brought him up in this conversation. And so I said, but why is Shatawale worried about somebody's brand? That was the first thing that came to mind. I said, akwawe pa. Then I also chanced upon an interview that Newman had with Kasapa FM,
FM, Kwame B.
and he was posed this question about Shatawale saying that he needed branding in that interview. And I was surprised at the gentleman's calmness and the way he answered the question. When he was posed the question as to what does he think of what Shatta had recommended, he said that as far as he's concerned, that is how he planned to introduce himself to the public. And from what has happened, and even the station inviting him for a conversation shows that it has worked. So going forward, after he establishes himself with what he is doing and he needs to rebrand, he will look in that direction. But as of now, he was satisfied with what. Andrew, what would you say to a person like that?
If that was his strategy, I think it's working.
Yes.
Because I stated that it's a continuum. It's a process.
Exactly.
And you're starting off and not having money to go buy the things that you naturally would.
Exactly.
You can't go borrow money to do that. So you use what you have and try and let your work speak for you.
Exactly.
And once the work speak for you and you begin to, the end goal is that you want to make money of it, right? You want to grow your listenership and all of that. You can invest part of that money into creating a new, a new sort of brand for you, or a new identity when it comes to your lifestyle or your outlook or whatever. So
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
If that was the original intent, then I think it's working,
Yes.
because at least we are talking about
Exactly.
people are talking about everybody's got who
Who is
this
Sam
man
Newman?
guy,
Who is
whatever
Sam
it is.
Newman?
Once you hear he's an artist, you want to listen to him. You like it, okay, Newman releases an album next month, you want to go and stream to figure out what it is. So
And also the
if
song-
that was the original intent,
And
I
they played
think
a
it's
song.
The song he released
He
depicts
released
the storyline. As
Storyline.
in,
Kwame, and I thought it fitted what he was trying
Yeah.
to do.
yeah. Yeah.
So I think
So Uncle Ken, he doesn't need rebranding.
when he's established,
Not now.
at the moment, what he is doing, like Andrew is saying, is working for him. But I do not know for how long he can go with what he is at the moment. Andrew them can, let us know when will be the right time for him to change, if he has to.
Maybe some people think he should swag up a bit.
my brother, if you don't have money to buy Mercedes Benz, you can't buy Rolls Royce. So what is the
What
swagging up
are you
for,
going
right?
to use to swag up?
So brand, like I said, it's just a series of perceptions, right? It's not money, because someone can have 10,000 Ghana cedis and truly dress up proper than somebody who has 100,000 Ghana cedis. So
Right.
it's not about what is in your pocket; it's what you're trying to build. And building stuff, at the beginning, we all started by taking trotros, isn't it? Before we got lucky, and we happened to buy our first car, right? And then you happen to progress. So it's a journey. I think that with new artists, we put so much pressure on them
yeah.
to look like your Sarkodie is just up today, or your Shatters or your Stoneboy. Like every time there's a new artist, you want to compare them.
Yeah.
To. The same thing with sports. Anytime that anyone breaks through, they want to compare them to the great. It's normal. But I think that, we all need to cut them some slack to know that they are on their journey and allow them to go through their journey. For me, let their craft speak for them.
Okay.
And later, whatever it is, like I said about the craft is the product. The branding is what you put around you to give essence to that product. Let the product speak. Once it begins to yield value, you can always plow that back to enhance whatever is around it.
Andrew, what inspires companies or institutions, if you like, to rebrand their products?
Sales, right?
So so
It has to be very, very important.
yeah. So
Sales.
It has to be sales. I think it will be a
So
top.
every brand, right, has a certain lifestyle, has a life cycle, right? There are some brands that they finish their life cycle and that's it. You have to kill that brand and start another one, right? And maybe reintroduce it later. And I use brands like Key Soap. Key Soap was the biggest thing there, and then it just went off, and they have reintroduced it. At that time, it had finished its life cycle. There's no value in that brand anymore, so you had to let go. There are some brands that you can resuscitate, right? So usually, if you look at the science of it, brands begin to grow at an increasing pace, and then they grow at an increasing pace.
Okay.
And they peak very quickly and they plateau, and then they begin to descend. The reason is that the market can get saturated because you can have competition coming in.
All right.
Like especially in Ghana, you have all these things coming from China and XYZ. So there's so much that you can sell, or there's so much that you can market that can convert into sales. So with increasing proliferation of competition, you see your brand descending.
Okay.
It can descend to the point that the brand literally doesn't have much value.
Right.
So what you have to do is that either you enhance the product in one way or the other, right? If it's something that appeals to the palate, you optimize the taste, or you have a new formula, or you add. I'm sure you hear some brand they say, "I've added something. We've added this. We've added that."
Yeah.
Is
It's
it
not part of
always
rebrand.
true?
That is what the manufacturers say. So we have to go with them, right? So what it is that once you see your brand struggling or suffering, you can see that the sales are plummeting and the brand health is not as strong as it used to be. That is when you go through rebranding.
Okay.
Rebranding doesn't just mean packaging. There are some brands that packaging appeal a lot to the target.
Good.
Or package, which means that the bottle. If you see mineral water nowadays, they've all changed the shape of it because there's a new shape that appeals to consumers a lot more. So all these things you need to consider, and that's why having full knowledge of your market and having full knowledge of your target and having full knowledge of technology and advancement in your field. Remember, I said that you need to plow back 5-10% into research and development. All these things help you to say that, you know what, we've seen the signs that this brand is struggling. How can we kickstart it, right? So you kickstart it by enhancing the brand, whether it's the aesthetics or whether it's actually the product itself, or maybe you have a new person that you want to drive the value of this brand, whether it's brand ambassadorship or whatever it is. You need to make sure the strategy is right. And then you can relaunch that brand. And usually, if you tick all the boxes, the brand is going to start picking up again. But even with that, it's gonna go through. No brand rises forever. They go through, it's like trading in stocks. You always go up and down, but you need to understand the dynamics of the market so that you can change, and be amenable to those changes so that you can continue to have value for the brand.
Bringing this home to the creative industry, an artist wants to rebrand and changes their name. Is that enough to call rebranding?
A brilliant example is Shatawale.
Shatawale.
From Bandana to
Shatawale.
I mean, if you look at Shatta's songs from Bandana days, they weren't too different. It's just that Shatta became a brand that, brought a certain movement, right? So he took some time off, sat down and said, you know what? And I think that, sometimes, we need to pay attention to why people do certain things. He just didn't go and he didn't come back 2 months after. He claimed that he traveled elsewhere, stays.
He worked behind the scenes and did his homework well.
He really took time to understand what he wanted, because he saw that people needed this kind of revolution sort of thing, right? So he came with all of this, and all of a sudden there's a movement, right? And so you can do that. He shifted from where Bandana was, a regular musician who was doing patois and achi and all of that, to somebody who said that he's coming with something different. You can rebrand. You don't always have to change your name. Sometimes you can add certain genres to your music. Sometimes you can risk it by doing something entirely different. I'm sure and Andre 3000 came out with a new album. Everybody was hoping that it was going to be jamming in the clubs and all of that. And it was just a whole album of flutes, right? So an artist, let me say this: creative people inherently have, it's like it's not the right analogy, right? But it's like snakes. They like to peel their skins and have fresh, or like human beings, right? They always like to have this renewal. After a certain time, they get bored with what I think creative people usually are. Yeah. So every now and then they want to add something, and that's why some of them go into extreme lengths of, doing all the weird things that you talk about. But inherently, they always want to find a way of, changing something and being different, because differentiation is important in branding. What can I do to be different? How crazy can I go? How wild can I go with this my fashion? How ridiculous can I be? What is the dumbest thing I can say that will let everyone share or say something? It's part of their nature, So if you're an artist and you want to rebrand yourself and all of that, know what you want. But, I always go back to the principle. What you want should always be in sync with what people want. If there's a need for people to say that we want people who behave like this or act like this or have this personality, then you need to know that so that you can craft, your rebranding or your repositioning towards that, because it would always have to be driven by the need of the target.
And talking about needs, from what you've just said, there are a lot of examples in this country to show that there is the need for certain people to do what they do, because certain people have large following for doing weird things.
Uncle Ken on fire.
I can, on this note, I'll plead the
Andrew, how often is it advisable to rebrand?
Like I said, once you lose relevance.
Before he goes in.
Okay.
Just before he goes in, the tendency you're going suggests that once the name changed from Banana to Shatawale, then he became big. But I don't think we have any scientific proof that that was what happened.
To prove that.
Yeah, because and I know he also mentioned something where he said when somebody came back and all of a sudden, no, I
I think he mentioned a number of factors.
I remember that time. Well,
Okay.
but it was kind of like all of us. I had like an all of a sudden in there.
Okay.
But I remember exactly around that time because I had people saying, "Oh, some guy, some Shatawale guy. Oh, then be like, then they go by bandana." So, but then he was like underground still, but like you hear him at like funerals in Labadi, Adorings, and yeah,
Phillips,
that phase was on for like 2 years before, right? So. And it's the same thing going on to me now. I'm not sure if you know this guy called DJ Mr. Day. You probably never heard of him. Trust me, I'll tell you today. You hear of him soon. Just like how Bandana. I'll show you videos of him. When that guy, he's a DJ. He just plays music and talks. Not even sing over it.
Okay.
But he just talks, and whatever he says, the audience does it.
Are you serious?
Take your clothes off. They will take it off. Jump and hold the ceiling. They will hold it. So I actually went to it's in Jamestown. I went to Jamestown to talk to him, and I asked him, and he was like, "I know you think what I do is weird because whatever I say people do," and I'm like, "Yeah, I think it is. I mean, can't hate your fine, like basically, but it's not."
Is that a good thing that he
No,
said?
it was like the weirdest conversation we had, like because I was fascinated, like. Because it's either you're thinking he has people in the crowd that it's his people, but no, this is put him anywhere and give him. To me, I think it's more like, Adabakadabara, how do you say that thing? Like, you know how you can
A charm?
not charm, but there's a certain word for it. You know how like in cartoons you see their eyes going round, and then they could do anything.
No,
You know what I'm talking about.
hypnotize.
Yeah, like almost
okay.
to me, almost like it's hypnotizing them. Yeah, because it's like he starts, and it's one of those things where it's like repetition of words, yeah, and then it changes, and but it's always like a lot of you have to listen to him.
Maybe Bitofa.
But yeah, I think Shatta was probably on that same level where it started bubbling for a while, and then people just like were going crazy, and then it became commercial because like Mr. Day is not like it's not commercial now because if we go to a club, he's not playing that. But when you go to any mommy type of deal, he's there. Like when they do homo floats, if you don't get Mr. Day at your float, Charlie, just
So as we speak, he is putting his ones and twos together
yes,
to come and explode.
exactly. And it's been going on for like 2 years now, but still nobody knows him. It was just Gamami, like Jamestown area. Then I saw him Nungwa, Teshi, now Kaswa.
Jamestown, there are stars
Then
there.
Kaswa. So like
And he's being strategic.
Yeah.
basically moving,
Wow.
and then the next thing you know, and the funny thing, like I said, it is not a song. It's a beat playing with him talking on it to do something, and you do it.
very, very soon he'll be doing us to find. Andrew, how often should a brand rebrand?
Oh, it's not how often. You know,
How often can a brand rebrand?
you can rebrand as many times as you want. But there must be a need for it, right? There must be a call for it. So, for instance, if the brand is not valuable anymore, I'm talking about the bottom line, because at the end of the day, what any brand is to sell, is to make sure that you're converting to sales, and you're having loyal customers who are going to repeatedly buy your product. So if you realize that you're not converting sales, the first thing is to know that there's something wrong with the brand. All serious brands also have health trackers, right? So every serious brand knows the health of their brand, and a lot of stuff goes into the health of the brand. Do people know you, right? Are you distinctive? Are you seen at the point of purchase? Like there's several things that goes into that. So when you look at the brand health and it's not functioning, you compare it with sales and it's not functioning, something has got to give, right? And if again you go do further research and you need to rebrand, first you need to understand what the consumers are currently using that they are not patronizing yours. So you need further research to understand what has competition gone over me. Maybe I slagged that I didn't understand the market. This is the new channel for distribution, whatever it is. Like you need to go through the whole 9 years to understand why you want to rebrand. But you always need to come up with something superior because your competition probably will be in that spot. So you want to find a very clear, distinct differentiation point So you don't rebrand to become ordinary. You rebrand to become a superior product, in the market. So it depends on the market and where the market is going and what consumers are moving. If you look at the tech industry, that is where the quickest innovation is, right?
Yes.
Because everyone, I mean, you have, I bought a Max desktop probably a year and a half. I'm sure by the time I'm ready to use it, because I thought I was going to use it in 6 months. By the time I'm ready to use it, I probably should buy a new one, because the cutting edge, with tech and how fast things are moving, with AI coming to disrupt everything, it just changes the way things are. So as a brand, you just need to understand the market, the speed of your market, the speed at which consumers are changing, and how they're changing their lifestyle and platform of connectivity. All these things are important. You need to keep your eyes on there. If all these numbers say that, look, my brother, you need to put some small haywale in this brand by doing X, Y, Z, you do that, right? Sometimes it's best for you to kill the brand and start a new one, because they're like, there are brands that have been killed because they weren't going to be valuable anymore, right? There's several examples. They get killed and later they introduce them for whatever tactical reason. But there are brands that it's best for, because you see, it's investment, and especially for not service, especially for products, it's a lot of investment. You're talking about plans. You're talking long-term financial, commitments and all of that. You're talking production lines. You're talking, look, it's a whole lot. Marketing lines. It's distribution. It's a whole lot. So sometimes you look at the future value of the brand and you realize that, look, it's not worth it for us to continue to invest in this brand. It's better if we killed it and come up with something similar but superior, so that the new because usually once you have lines of distribution, you do not have a problem. You can maintain those lines of distribution. If you have multiple products, those are there. So once you introduce a new product, you don't have to, especially if they serve the same market, you don't have to worry too much about distribution, because you have those connections already. So you can but there's a lot that goes into coming to that point that I have to rebrand, or I need to bring out a new brand, to serve the same needs of consumers or customers.
What do we call a formidable brand?
A formidable brand is a brand which is consistent. And again, I always throw it back to the target. If you're not the target, it really doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
If the target still think that you're formidable, you are the number one, you're the hero, you're relevant, you speak to them, you engage with them the way, they're always trying to fight for you and be there for you. That is a formidable brand, right? A formidable brand also doesn't stay valueless. Like, you need to keep adding value. Right? So if an artist starts today and has hit singles and hit albums, and you can see the lifestyle change, and artists invest in the studio.
They're getting ambassadorial
deals, bringing out
deals,
underground artists and pushing them and giving them deals and setting up labels and all of that. That for me I call formidable, because you just didn't think about your brand alone and what you wanted for yourself. You're also thinking about helping society or helping humanity. In current terms, most brands who have a purpose-driven agenda are ones that are formidable, and they will run for a long time going forward. Because see, consumers realize that you give me a product and I drink, and that's it. But we feed into your productivity. Meanwhile, the environment is getting choked by the same bottles and pallets of rubbers and stuff that you give to us. Who's going to clean our? I'm sure when you go to Labadi, you see it. When you go to Pram Pram, you see those plastics, right? Consumers are thinking about these things, right? They're thinking about, you make so much money, but the poor people and corporate used to do corporate social responsibility.
Yeah.
In terms, people thought it was just trying to avoid taxes, right? So because once they do this, they get some tax claims back. So consumers no longer believe that, you drilled 5,000 boreholes across country, and it really, and you put it in the news, like really you want people to know, because you want to have some tax relief. So, but what has been proven by science is that a lot of brands now figure out that part of their mandate and their mission is not just to sell products and brands, but also to use their platforms to help humanity, because there's several challenges in this world, right? So whether you're using it to fight, real issues about, discrimination, or issues on gender, issue on the environment. These are real issues that we face as a people.
Okay.
And if you look at Ghana, there's several issues, from the north and south, there's several issues. So brands that really do things to help the larger society, for me, would be called formidable, right? So the same thing, an artist who just doesn't think selfishly about what he acquires by his craft and what value he's accumulated, but spread this. I'm not talking spread like dash it, but do things in the industry to improve it, to unearth other talents who themselves will create their own value and also spread. It's like the pyramid, right? Everyone is pushing you up. You become the godfather, right? So formidable brand is doing your craft, honing it well, creating the value that you want, using your platform and influence to uplift others. People would speak for you. You don't have to speak. People will fight for you. I'm not talking your target audience. I'm talking the other nodes of network that you begin to build will begin to fight for you. And they would also influence people, but it always comes back to you. So you want to be formidable. You want that, godfather status, that director, that chairman status. It shouldn't always be about you and stipends you give to people. You really need to solve issues within the space of your own craft or within your own industry.
And somewhere in your submission,
yes,
you mentioned AI.
Yes.
The influence of AI. And it reminded me of something I saw that I saved on Facebook. There was this picture of a group, a musical group.
Okay.
And AI, these days on Facebook, this AI meta thing is
The
all
meta,
over,
AI.
all over the place. And so somebody posted, said, tell me more about Manhattan.
They're asking AI.
Yeah, asking AI.
Meta
Tell
AI.
me more about the group Manhattan.
Okay. Yeah.
And the response from AI got me very puzzled. AI said, Manhattan is a popular music group from Ghana, known for their catchy high life and Afrobeat sounds. They were formed in the 70s and gained a huge following in Ghana and West Africa. The group's music often features lively horn sessions, driving rhythms, and memorable melodies. They are considered one of the pioneering groups in Ghanaian music and have inspired many other artists. Their music is still widely enjoyed today, and they are often referred to as the kings of Ghana high life. Then AI poses a question. Do you have a favorite song by Manhattan? And so when I saw that, I said, what group are they talking about? Because I don't remember any group called Manhattan in Ghana still giving us good vibes as they claim that they are.
AI is confused.
So you see this AI thing, I said, are these guys serious? Because can you tell me, all of you here in this room, have you ever heard of any group from the 70s called Manhattan?
Maybe that was the nickname for CBSA.
Sometimes we think AI is God. AI is not God.
AI picks information from.
It takes and
I think it's too early. Like give it like a 5-10
Yes.
years.
Yes.
That is when AI
When it
will
settles.
be-
Small.
settles, yeah.
Small.
because it's taking information and it's being trained to think in a certain way. And it's been trained to organize information, data within the. We are talking split second here, because AI has like 10 billion soldiers out there going to every single website, social media, whatever. So the moment you type in, these billions of soldiers just go boom and they take whatever and organize within that split second.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how scary it is. And it can churn out incredible, information for
Andrew, before we go on a break and come back to the last session of this particular discussion, let me ask you, if an artist came to you and asked you to tell him or her what to do to win ambassadorial deals, what would you say?
Okay, so let me start. We have a lot of I have a lot of friends.
Artist friends, right?
The artist friends. I'm talking about
Okay.
managers and some record,
Okay, labels.
labels, chiefs who usually would say, but check, you guys, you're managing the big brands. Why is it that you're not throwing, you're not throwing some bread away? And I keep saying that you need to understand what a lot of these artists do is that they're trying to get brands to fit into their lifestyle. No brand will do that. Brands don't fit into your lifestyle. Recall earlier I said that every brand has a person. Right? Name me every brand. I can tell you whether it's a male. I'm talking like whether it's male or female.
Okay.
Right? I can tell you whether this is a kid or a mid-range person.
Okay.
I can tell you whether this guy is a family-oriented brand or this is a very, carefree, easygoing brand. All brands have personalities. So when artists think that I built my personality without anyone's doing, like, this is me, they try to equate popularity and following to mean that I should be a brand that people should be seeking to have something to do, when it comes to ambassadorial deals or even being an influencer, because there's a difference between the two, being an ambassador and being an influencer of the brand. Usually brands would like to take, if you to work with any brand, there's a clear brief. Most brands know exactly what they want out of the brand. In fact, they know so much they know exactly what they don't want. In fact, that was the best definition. This area, we are not going there. This is what we are sticking to. This is what we like. This is our target. This is our market. We can take risk, but within that risk, this is the block of space that we are going to work within. So they're very rudimentary about how they build their brands.
Okay.
So if they have defined what their brand is, what the personality is, what the character is, the future of that brand, what they want to do with that brand and all of that, and they want an ambassador, assuming that is a strategy for the brand, because you just don't wake up and say, I want an ambassador influencer.
Yeah.
If that is it, the brand will want to go out and find an artist that can match his character to that of their own brand. They're just not going to call you because you have following.
Okay.
So usually, as an artist, you should know this. That's work that they have to do. Or they can work with, agencies and to be able to determine. Look, this is my brand. What brands can fit into my space, so that you can start working towards that. But be it as it may, when you even fall within that category, there's several process to go through. If you are an influencer, you really don't have to speak for the brand, but you showcase the brand in one way or the other. You have all these social media, how do you call it, re-bloggers or people who re-promote all these stuff that you promote and all of that. Then you have the bigger deal, which is ambassadorial. That means that you are actually a mouthpiece of that. That would come with thicker
exactly
bundles, but it also comes with a lot of responsibilities, because if you speak for the brand, you should represent the brand. And I'm sure there are persons who lost deals because quite recently, I'm sure you've seen and you've heard that some people lost deals because of what information came out and all of that. But the bottom line is that if you want to get brands, if you want to attract any brand, make sure that you know who you are, and also try and understand what these brands out there also want out of you. Then you can have that perfect match. Get people to do a good deal with you, and voila. It goes.
Last question before the break. So you've signed me as a brand ambassador. Then maybe a year later, I get involved in a scandal. Maybe a sex scandal, which has nothing to do with the brand that I'm promoting. Is it right for the brand to say they are pulling the reins on working with me?
It has everything to do with the brand. Like I told
that's
you,
my personal life.
Yeah, it has everything, because see, brand, you're a spokesperson, right? It's almost like you're home, you're with your parents, and there's a scandal at home. You cannot say that this doesn't affect me because I was not the one participating in it. It will affect you. And the bottom line of this is this: if you look at the contract for brand ambassadorial deals, they're very, very strict, right? It's a thorough legal document that prescribes what you can do and what you can't do, right? It gives you enough time on how you're going to sever that relationship, and they give you a list of things that when you do, it calls for that to. In fact, they're punitive. In most cases, they're also punitive measures, because sometimes it's just not about severing the relationship. You also dent the image of the brand, and it has repercussions negatively.
Andrew, does that happen in Ghana?
Oh, it does. Oh, it does.
It does.
The
There are
contract,
examples.
brand ambassadorial contracts are very, very strict. I've seen
Even
some
in
with-
Ghana?
Oh, yes.
they're very strict.
Eh,
Oh, yeah, they're very strict.
Okay.
Yeah, it's happening to
You see, it
Stonebwoy. That's
depends on
public
that
knowledge.
brand, right?
Happened to?
It
Stonebwoy.
depends on that. I've seen brands ambassadorial contracts, and I know how strict that was. I don't want to mention names here, but I've seen global world-class brands, and they do not joke. I mean, if you see the contract and you touch it and you sign it, you better behave.
No, I know worldwide.
Yeah, here
But
it happens in Ghana.
I particularly asked about Ghana.
Uncle Ken, do you remember the Stonebwoy and Wale altercation at the VGMAs?
That was obvious.
Yeah, so it cost Stonebwoy his Samsung ambassadorial deal. He mentioned it.
Yeah.
He mentioned it. Yeah.
That gained so much,
yeah.
talkability that the brand had to act. But I'm asking this
If it's
question
okay.
because I see certain brand artists who are brand ambassadors who are outrightly irresponsible.
By that, what do you mean by outrightly
Yeah,
irresponsible?
I'm saying by their deeds.
Yeah, and there are
Okay.
two things here. A brand can say, "I want if I'm shooting a new promo, right?
Yeah.
I want the artist to be this artist. You're not an ambassador for the brand. They only use your image and your liking
All right.
to
Yeah.
want to drive some sort of promotion out. So that whatever you do, they can easily just
Oh, okay.
just yank it off. Brand ambassadorial deal is a serious
deal.
business. It's a deal. I mean, it's a quid pro quo. There are repercussions in there. It's a very thorough, legally thought through document that once it's signed, like I said, you better behave, because you can be sued.
Wow.
And I mean that you can be sued for driving very negative. I mean, if you look at Tiger Woods. The
Yes,
only
I was
reason
going
that
to come
Nike
that.
didn't
Yeah.
drop him was because he was the foundation of Nike Golf. So they had nowhere to go, And remember, now he's off Nike because they are fresher, guys on there, with your McElroy and all these guys, thinner and younger, stronger guys coming. They say, okay, Tiger Woods, you know what? We are done with you.
That's
so
right.
he goes out there. Forms alliance with TaylorMade, now making his own brand, Sunday Red, right? They just released 1st of May, the clothing and all of that coming. So it's a serious, and they were dropping him like every day from Accenture to every day there was a drop because the repercussions.
But what did he do?
Just
Innocuous.
You see, I said that branding is about perception. It should not be true. There are artists here who say they are who they are not, but they've been able to drive that perception in the minds of people for you to think that they are. There are those who probably could be working up with a gun who've never said it before, but they want to create certain perceptions. There are those who are quite easygoing, but they are actually kind of much more stronger and much more gangster behind that. So once the perception goes out there, media is where people feed on negativity more.
That's right.
And you will be judged and crucified on media before they. So no brand has time for them to investigate. No. Once they have the least of evidence, they don't have to go to court. Exhibit 1, they hear exhibit 2, you are gone.
Oh.
Right? And all these things are stated in the contract on the processes with which they're going to sever, the relationship that they have with you.
Because with Tiger, I'm saying here was this clean-looking gentleman, very effective at his craft, very popular, likable.
Yes. On the surface. They got behind a lot of things.
Andrew, you say on the surface, but behind.
Yes.
And that is where the question arises.
Yeah.
The behind. Did he not, as a human being, have to have a behind?
That's the
But
that's the
mask
question.
it. You see, mask it. We all have inhibitions, right? There's no
We all
one
do,
who has clean hands, right? But mask that personal life. Don't.
But he had been able to mask for
but he wasn't
a
able
length
to mask
of
it
time.
forever. So
You can't do it forever.
Once it came out,
So mine to say insane.
no. Once it came out, you
Yeah.
know, you had no choice. I mean,
Yeah.
brands won't stick around for the next 24 hours. I mean,
Exactly.
when something like this happens, you know, and I'll say this. When Reggie, my good brother Reggie Raxton, was the brand ambassador for
Was it Glow?
Guinness
Oh,
Extra
sorry.
Smooth.
Sorry.
smooth. Okay.
You know, there were after his father passed. You know, there were
Yes,
issues about
after
the
Ricky
vehicle,
passed, yeah.
the vehicle issues and all of that.
That's right.
It had certain negative connotation on the ambassadorship, and then you know, the brand got us involved. You know, to go to Kumasi and talk to people what they think about it. Eventually, it became, even though the how do you call it? The case was still being adjudicated. It became like the Michael Jackson syndrome, right? Yeah, we didn't do it, but we all think that it is possible, sort of thing. And I think after a while, the brand severed, that contract,
with them.
for that reason, right? Eventually, it came out as a no situation, right? As something that wasn't true. But brands won't stick along for a long time for you to go through your court cases and for you to draw a lot of negative. Because the moment you mention, especially when you've invested in that artist and he's almost synonymous with your brand, the moment you bring the person's name and it goes straight to that negative stuff, so your brand begins to suffer. And so brands would usually want to find a clinical way of just let's sever it. We can come back to this later, but for now, let's just let everyone know that we are no longer in a relationship with you, and then you sort yourself out. We still support you, but once you're done and we think that we can continue with this relationship, we can come back, patch up, and move on. Otherwise, we want to disassociate with you completely.
Seven, what are some of the things that cause brands to sever their work relationships with artists or creatives?
I mean, it's simple. Whatever they have in the contract that they don't want the artists doing. But artists want to be free. The creators want to be free. And that is what the problem is. And personally, I think like most of the time, the management doesn't understand how the whole relationship, because I think it's the management who needs to drive this. Because I've seen like some managements doing whatever they can to save some of these artists. Because if you leave the artist alone, he would do the things, the exact things that were written that he shouldn't do. Those are the exact ones that he would do. You would think the devil is after him. Like it makes no sense.
And
So
if the brand doesn't react
to
when they do that,
yeah.
what do I have to think about that brand?
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes it's almost like it's deliberately reading what the brand said not to do, and they're sticking them. Oh, okay, don't do this. I'll do this on Monday. I'll do this on Tuesday. It's sad and it's weird, but this is how it is, and it's not just them. For some reason, bad advices go with artists. Like they do things they're not supposed to do. But whenever you sign that contract, whenever, personally, when I deal with artists, I need to know you personally. I just need to know you. And,
Okay.
I've been with artists where we start and they get to that level where everybody knows them, and then they want to be superstars on you. You're the person who you held your hand when you were, and then there's others who respect the fact that you were there from day one, and you are the only person they can probably talk to, the only person who can actually correct them. Some actually allow that, some won't. But there's always that point where they'll get to the point where they think they don't need you. Your advice is not valuable enough. Like they've probably met some other bigger name managers or bigger name industry folks and stuff. But every artist should have that person that no matter what, whether if it be your mom or your father or anybody, because like as of now, like says for example, if your mom is part of the management, and I love that because like you need some certain figures in this industry to be sane and act like you were supposed, because sometimes it's a lot of money
If his
involved.
mom is part of the management,
It's part of the management now.
Okay.
There are other names in it, but her mom being in there alone, I'm like, okay, that's good. And trust me, some of the artists who have messed up in the past is simply because of that. Like, it gets to a point you can't control me. Uncle Ken, don't mention the name. You can't
It's good you just warned him.
I had to warn him because he looked too excited looking at his phone. And I was like, no, please don't mention.
So eager to mention names, like
So it's it's like, you get to that point. So when you're going to these type of deals, like signing a brand ambassador deal with the brand, it's not even up to the artist. It's up to the team. Like, the team controls everything, because every little thing, you be in trouble. Like, the whole thing is off. So it's a big deal. Usually money's big or good enough to last the team for for a while. So, and that money could either be used to, like, basically propel the artist to a different level. I mean, if I was in that position, I would actually even negotiate a better terms where the brand might actually be invested in the artists' music and stuff that they do. Like, okay, you're shooting a music video for me because I want your product in there. Like, you should have that mentality where you're partners with the brand. There's so many ways to explore it. It depends on your team and what they know, what they think they can do. But unfortunately, our people are just about how much are we getting now? You take the money, anything else they don't care. But no, you can go lower, but you can get them to put certain things in there. And I've actually been a witness to a situation like that, which really broke my heart, because the artist could have done that with the brand for a period of time.
Okay.
Although they signed initially for 3 months, it could have gone on because they wanted to do this and do that and do that, and they said, no, please don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. Give us all that money. We want it ourselves, and we'll do it for you. And then the product that they put out that you're going to do with the money was so abysmal. And I'm like, no, this is a big company. They could have done some of these things for you easily. Yeah. So overall, just like I had the manifesto the other time.
Yeah.
We don't have the professionals. We don't have the professionals to reason and see how these things work. So we'll always come off as if we are begging for crumbs. And if you're begging for crumbs too, you definitely have to behave. Like he said, you have to behave, because they'll give it to you, but you just have to fall in line. You definitely have to fall in line. But we don't have the professionals to deal with these things. Because imagine you're dealing with somebody his caliber on the marketing side of a brand. On the other side, it'd be Ian and boys. The language he's speaking, they're not speaking at all.
Yes.
They're not speaking.
Yes.
So
and to add to this,
Yeah.
see, a lot of artists do think that being an influencer and being a brand ambassador is just showing the product of They want you to marry the brand.
Exactly.
Right? Meaning that they want you to breathe the brand. I'm not talking eat the brand and drink the brand every day. You need to understand the brand and what the brand is for, what it stands for, what it does. I'm talking about proper immersion. They need to be immersed in the brand so that they can go inside themselves and creatively come up with ways that they can promote the brand.
Okay.
Beyond whatever program, whatever marketing program which is there. Every brand has its marketing program for the year. Say, okay, so this is where you're going to come to 3 functions, and every 2 weeks we want you to showcase this brand and all of that. And some artists are very lazy with such deals. Because all they have to do is, okay, this week, okay, so I take one photo with this, okay, I use this product, and that's it. Brands don't want you to do that. If they wanted you to be a poster boy, they would have paid you for a poster boy. They want you to be involved in the brand. Like, you need to be intrinsically married to this brand, right? Which means that you need to, when you speak for the brand or when you say something about the brand, people believe it because they've seen you use the brand and not just showcasing it.
Okay.
Or they see you actually promote the brand beyond the normal platforms and all of that. Then you're creating your own content. Of course, there are guidelines. Create content that you think would help brands, right, to be able to get to their goals that they want to get. But sometimes we've had influencers that all they care about is the month is over, Charlie. They are driving over to collect their check.
But Andrew,
right? Yes.
From what you're saying,
Yeah.
would you not blame the brands?
See,
Because do the brands know themselves
No, they do.
before they
But
employ those influencers that you're talking about?
there's work to be done on both ends. That
Yes.
actually, because brands sometimes restrict artists too much.
Okay.
They
They do.
This is how we are like, so this is what you have to do. So it restricts them. I do agree. But I'm saying that who tends to benefit a lot more from the brand point of view, they could pick another ambassador. Look, there's no way you can sell far more than the brand would actually sell itself. They want you to help enhance certain aspect of that brand, and also if it can translate into sales, so be it. So you tend to lose more as an artist if you want the brands to come to you. You need to have that canvas, right, to be able to allow them to come into you, and you craft your persona around the brand so that you can create this beautiful artwork that you would benefit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because if they see value, for instance, if the deal says that, okay, social media network, every week we want you to post twice, and you actually sit down and instead of a picture, you do a video with the brand and you're within the brand guidelines, isn't the video going to be shared a lot more than the picture? But brands will say, because, hey, my deal didn't say I should do a video. All I have to do is take a picture and put it on the Instagram twice and that's it. With that, look, true consumers will know that you are detached from the brand. And consumers know that, oh, this guy is just promoting. Sometimes they say, oh, you are just promoting. You are not a user of the brand. You don't love the brand. You are not in the brand's life. And consumers will know that. So, there has to be this constant, back and forth of, for me, discussion between artists and brands to know the best equilibrium on how the artist can bring his own unique, capabilities and tendencies to the brand, and how the brand can also give some freedom, because he said it right, artists like freedom, some freedom and space for them to craft different ways of communicating or talking about your brand, rather than being very straightjacket and this is how we want you to say it. I mean, like LPMs, you can't tell an artist to read something you write to them to talk about your brand. It's going to be boring. Give them space and say, this is like it's like an actor. Once you have the script, allow him to bring his emotions to it, whether it's going to cry or whatever it is. Allow him to bring that thing in there. So there must be that constant, correlation. But I think that a lot of artists fail to harness the value that brands want from them. They fail to do that. And so when they don't get recalled for the next round of influencer marketing or next round of signing the deal, they be like, oh, please just spend time, understand the brand, and do a lot more for the brand, because eventually you're going to be the bigger beneficiary when the deal is signed with some extra 20-30% more value on the contract.
You see, Joy 99.7 FM, we're having a conversation on branding in the creative industry, artist branding, and we have in the studio branding and marketing communications expert Andrew Aka, who is also president of the Advertising Association of Ghana. We have Uncle Ken, who is veteran broadcaster.
That is brand. That's a cool brand.
Seven Xavier, who is president of Ghana Music Alliance. You can send in your questions 055-1111-997. Now, still on you, Andrew. So, what are some of the things that topple strong brands? This brand is huge. All of a sudden, boom.
There's several factors. I think Xavier can speak a lot more to that, because he's into them proper.
Yeah.
But
wait, are we talking brands as in like corporate?
Brands as in our creative brands, as in artists, individual artists or groups.
Okay, so like I said, I think everything has like roots in something else, and money is one of the first, because when you don't have the funds to project a certain brand or image, it will slow you down, especially when the image is not easily acceptable by the audience, and I can tell you some of the artists who I think have the most beautiful music but can't cross over properly because they can't overly market themselves. It's a bit difficult for the audience to relate 100%. And some of the names I'll definitely say is like the Cena Souls, the AIs, how you see that it goes by, and this guy. No.
Which one?
Trying to
Walasi?
Walasi is also in that category, and then there's another Pure Khan.
Pure Khan, yeah.
Listen, like there's these people, like when it comes to, if it is pure artistry, pure music, you can just sit and look at them in awe, like do your music. But it just takes a select few people who actually are there in terms of like understanding exactly what the art is, what the music is. And of course, not even just music in general, but like people who have a certain ear for certain types of music, you know, because they do certain types of music. But these are the type of artists that to me are artists. Now, the weird thing that's going on now in music or in creativity, if you want to put it that way, but I'll say music is people are hungry. People are starving. And one of the easiest ways to make money is being creative, or at least trying to convince yourself you're creative enough to do something. So you might be able to copy something else or something else that you see. Or there's some people who I call, to me, I tell them, it was a few kids that I've seen that I can tell them, I think you were a star. Just by your presence, your being, your aura. Like the way everybody's, like, you know, it's a bunch of friends, but this guy is like the guy everybody wants to look at. That guy is like, to me, is you can take that guy and make something out of that guy, you know, and they realize it now. And so these are some of the people who go on to be influencers, quote unquote. Like whatever they do online, some reason is awesome. People like it over a period of time. They get to that position. But there's a lot of people now who are not creatives, probably have that aura, but then will have to find something to make money off. And will go into whether they're acting or whether they are trying to make music and stuff. And some reasons, some of these people actually find it the easiest to quote unquote blow compared to like the artists, you know, compared to the artists. So somebody will tell you like in music, it's not about talent anymore. It's about who puts in the work, who works harder, you know, which is kind of true. Like the most talented ones are probably the laziest ones.
You don't need talent at all?
Kind of.
1%?
It's probably
2%?
1% of it, you know. And like this AI doing music now, like you can just, it's like, it just looks at what's trending on the charts, what's doing this, what's doing that, what's getting the streams, make something similar to that. You can put like a face to it or something to it, and it goes. Like it's so plasticky now, you know, that when it comes down to like the branding, like Safo Newman, it's like you know exactly what everybody wants him to look like, don't you? You can't say it, but you kind of know what everybody wants him to look like. And that is basically how the industry is now. Like it's that thing. It's just everything has to go this way. People are not diverse enough. And it's not their fault. It's just the fact. It's just the way it is. We're looking at streams. We're chasing numbers. You know, we are chasing streams. We're chasing how many views, how many this, how many that. What can an artist do to gain this many views, this many followers? And so these things come into play. And to me, creativity is almost like out of the door a little bit, you know, because what they do to get some of these things is not the creative thing. The creative parts is the head. That's the. I hope I don't get in trouble. But no, I'm just trying to like really.
You should have continued.
No, I've
you
never
are
had.
exhibiting your
I don't know
acting
what
skills.
you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, it's like it's you know, these things coming together. But in a nutshell, right now there's a lot of experiments going on. Like, yeah, we all think we know what's Safo Newman should look like, but he can surprise us and be something else.
We?
Yeah, we do.
How do we want him to look like?
Ask Kwame Dadzie. He knows
Uncle
exactly.
Ken is an exception.
Uncle Ken is
It's an exception, yeah.
It's not a young man's game, but a young man
I know
knows
why he
exactly.
asked the question. I know my uncle so well.
Kwame, I would want
Andrew.
to say, you know, if we need to place the same level of expectations on, say, footballers and sportsmen, right? The way we place on our artists, and I go further to explain that. Every good footballer trains as mad as possible, especially those who are sitting on the bench, right? And so we have this great expectation, and that's why they work so hard. They practice so often, 2-3 times in a week. Meanwhile, they're flying, they're coming. You have to. The only game is hard work. Talent is innate. It is what it is, but you can enhance it with hard work. You know. So for me, I would translate the same thing, and I want to mirror it when it comes to artists, whether you're acting or you're singing. I think a lot of people forget about the craft and they start looking at the aesthetics and the other things around that makes them feel happy and popular. Being popular doesn't put money in your pocket, to be honest with you. Having followers don't put money in your pocket unless you're able to use that to land some deals. You know, having 10,000 is not good enough because YouTube ain't going to pay you that kind of money unless you can get to your millions and all of that. So understand that, because the craft is what, once you have the craft, everything else can follow. You can build the things around the craft, and then things, you know, that's the branding. The core is your music that everybody loves, right? Then you can create the other things around it that would enhance it. But a lot more people, instead of focusing on albums and in between, say, 2 years of releasing another album, having very strong singles coming through that will make them relevant, because on the timeline you want relevance. All brands stay relevant. All brands who stay relevant actually have a good value for that brand at the end of the day. So you need to, one, know that craft. If you're a footballer, if you're a defender, if I ask Rudiger and Mikel Obi at Chelsea, who was a good defender, they were all defenders. Obi will always go back. Rudiger would always take the territory, but when he has an opportunity to go forward and score a goal, he will. So if you're to choose between the two of them, even though their positions are different, you always want to go for the one who can do his job very well, but can also go out there and get some additional value because he's able to take that risk and do that. So I think artists should really focus on the craft. That is the first reason why we fell in love with you and not your house and not your shoes. We fell in love with you not with your hairstyle or your
who you are
or
dating. Or
we fell in love with you because of your music and what it did to us. So focus on producing that stream or that series or that chain of excitement, not of course through music, but excitement and joy and inspiration. That is what your target is looking for. So focus on the craft and keep honing that.
In pop culture, you know, the extensions also matter sometimes. You know, the small gossip. This person is dating that person. He has done
My
this
brother,
and
does
that.
it put money in the pocket? Because you see, if all of these things enhance your brand and you can use that brand to close certain deals,
He gets more following.
then that is fine. Following doesn't mean anything.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That they
So you
focus so
leverage
much
on the following later.
artists and actors and sometimes even, you know, presenters
Yeah.
are so glued to their popularity.
Yes.
Kwame, my brother, it doesn't add nothing to
Yes.
your pocket
Oh.
until you're able to utilize that to draw that value. All these aesthetics.
How do you
Andrew,
utilize
I agree
that?
with you.
Andrew,
I
how do you
agree with
utilize
you
that?
a lot.
How do you utilize the
What is your,
following?
what is your core job? Work on
Yeah.
that craft.
You take an artist like Kofi
but I
Kina-
need to
Kofi
increase
Kinata.
my following before
You
I
don't
can.
need to increase your following. How did you get your following in the first
Kwame.
place? It's because of the craft.
Okay.
They are not following you because of your shoe, of your house.
Okay.
You understand? You might get more following if they see your cars and your shoes.
Okay.
But the reason why you started this platform,
Right.
or this community, is because of that core function of your craft.
That's right.
That is what touched my
So
heart.
I can't get
So,
catalysts.
Andrew, you
can
take
have
an
catalyst,
artist.
but produce more of that thing that touches my heart.
Kwame,
It's an emotional transaction.
Andrew,
right?
you take an artist like Kofi Kinata.
Yes.
Take aside his craft.
Yeah.
What else does Kofi Kinata do that makes
Comedy.
him popular?
Comedy on this platform.
Yeah, sometimes.
And that's his
yeah.
craft.
Yes,
Yeah.
And his music.
Yes.
So I agree with you 100% on that. He narrows in on his craft,
Yes.
and that makes him who he is.
Yes.
Because the extraneous things that others do, you don't get Kofi Kinata doing those.
Can anyone actually tell me what car Kofi Kinata drives
Yes.
or how he dresses?
Yes.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Because the man is delivering the thing that
Thank
will
you.
make you happy.
Thank you.
So no one needs to see Kofi Kinata's house or his mansion to want to follow him.
That's right.
The craft is the magnet. So focus on that craft and be a master of that craft. All the other things, like you said, seek ye the kingdom of God, and the rest shall be added unto you. Seek your craft and work so hard, so damn hard, night, day,
Agreed.
night. Be
100%.
sleeping at the studio. Churn out these singles. these albums. That is what is critical.
Agreed.
Then you can use the others to enhance it. But you cannot now be so popular. Like when I see people who are so they're drunk in their
popularity,
being popular.
Right. Yeah.
But my brother, you know when you want to fly, somebody has to buy that ticket for you. You know, and you're forcing yourself to live lifestyle beyond what you can afford. If you cannot, you know, as someone said, we are sick. Now a car pim no went to me and show, forget about your insurance. Went to me and show and got a brand new car. You understand? If you cannot afford to live your own lifestyle on your own terms, and you're living that because of what you think people want you to live.
Yeah.
You know, you would always you always have this financial situation where you're always borrowing to live up, and whatever you get, you're trying to do more so you can get more following. Please, you know, focus on what is important.
Let me ask
Andrew,
you
and some
another
have
controversial
forgotten
question.
how they got there.
Very easy. Popularity has
Some
fame
got there.
has-
Some got there through
Fame is
what
a
you have
drug.
just
No,
said.
fame is a drug, man.
Yes.
Fame is a
Some
drug.
got there through what you have just said.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
content that they produced for people to consume.
Yeah.
Others also got there through
And
controversy.
once people consumed and they got there, they forgot about the content
Yes.
and started doing unnecessary.
Nyama nyama things.
Exactly.
But Andrew,
To remain relevant.
in hip hop, there is what we call beef
Yes.
or diss songs.
Yeah.
You know, these are things they do to make the game interesting.
Yeah.
As we speak now, Sarkodie did a song, Brag, and some Nigerians are feeling the heat. A Nigerian rapper has released this song for Sarkodie and other people. You know, it makes the whole thing entertaining. You get more followers. The people will come and follow you and listen to your song and they stream it, and you get more money. It's part of it, right?
What is the relevance of that?
You
Somebody's releasing an album next week, next 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
You also
Kendrick
release
Lamar, who nobody really was listening to, now has the #1 streaming on Spotify for the past couple of.
Yes.
There must be an end goal, my brother.
Okay.
There must be something that leads to money.
Good.
So the beef, if you're beefing
should
and the
end
beef
to-
self, you the beef, but the beef self no day go chop. Then really, what is the beef about? So artists are crafty enough to use the beef
Yeah.
to enhance the next story of the next chapter of their
Yeah.
story, right? So if it's about releasing a new album, or if it's about releasing a clothing line, or having something different to
Good.
do, they'll create all of these things because. It's, the thing with brand and awareness, it moves from you have to be aware, right? And then from that awareness, you run through the whole funnel until you get to the point where like a brand, people are purchasing you and they're repurchasing you, right? So the same thing when artists, when you hear their names, it's in your head, it's part of your memory. So the moment you hear that they've released an album, you want to go and listen because maybe you even have some of these songs in there. What happens? Sales is going to go up, streaming is going to go up. This guy is cashing in.
Yeah.
So they do this, and sometimes they collaborate. Right? Even locally, they do collaborate. I don't think that all beefs were set up based on anger and jealousy.
Exactly.
It's just because, hey,
Yeah.
Charlie, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Let's create a
come
stunt.
here.
Let's create a stunt.
Hip hop has always been
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
so it's not a
yeah.
big deal. But at the end of the day, you need to be crafty. The bottom line is a big bottom.
And go.
To me, I mean, what's the point for? You understand? Like you need to, you need to have an end goal when you're staging, because this is stage, right?
Exactly.
Beef is staging.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that beyond that you have something, a story that you can tell, that you can monetize. At the end of whether it be music or, like I said, clothing line, or now a lot of
A
these
movie,
guys are into
yeah.
not movies, but even
Okay.
fine art, right? They
Yeah.
are into fine art and getting into all these places. So beef, but let the beef be relevant and let it be cooked so that you can eat.
So this is from DJ Mensa. He says he's enjoying your submission and would want to, link up with you later. Thank you very much for tuning in, Joe 99.7 FM. Now, we will be back to talk about how to repair damaged brands. Yeah, right here on your superstation Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. We're back.
Can you hear it? The freedom in our songs, the sound of liberty that rings from Kaswa to Karaga, from Tamale to Takoradi. It's in the pestles that pound from coast to coast. It's in the busy offices, the crowded streets, and the noisy schools. It's in the wisdom of our elders and in the laughter of our children. It's in seeing how far we've come and looking at how much we can grow. It's in knowing that still Ghana go be. MTN.
It's the 3i Africa Summit, where innovation, impact, and investment converge, where technology drives transformation. From the 13th to the 15th of May 2024, heads of state, central bank governors, thought leaders, innovators, investors, academics, and entrepreneurs will converge to unleash Africa's full potential. Discover the power of digital assets, explore the state of digital growth in Africa, and unveil lessons from Africa's central bank digital currency experiments. Engage in discussions on diversity in the creative arts and tech, financing Africa's SMEs and bridging the digital gender gap. Network with investors, pitch your ideas, and access funding at the 3i Africa Deal Room and Pitchfest. Join us at the Accra International Conference Center as we ignite a fintech revolution for Africa's financial future. Visit 3iafrica.com to register now.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts as Artiste Travels and Joy FM are about to take you on an adventure of a lifetime. Imagine yourself soaring high with your favorite drive time program in the heart of South Africa. Starting from the 3rd of June, join me, Lexus Bill, and the Drive Time team as we dive into the soul of South Africa. Starting at an exclusive promo rate of $1,390, you get to choose your adventure. Whether it's the urban pulse of Joburg or the thrilling Sun City, we've got you covered. But wait, there's more. Be part of history and join us at the Legends and Legacy Ball at the Santin Convention Center, celebrating the iconic Yvonne Chaka Chaka. Call Artiste Travels now on 0595 500 817 or visit www.artistetravels.com to secure your spot. Remember, it's more than a journey. It's an experience that will stay with you forever.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Park Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gameparkgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Park Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Park Games. More moolah, more power.
Usually, we get special treatment only on our birthday. But imagine getting a special package every single day. That's what AT's Daily Deals gives you. You get unique voice and data deals exclusive to you. What's even better is it's affordable, reliable, and available. Start experiencing AT's Daily Deals. Dial *533# today and every single day. When you do, you'll unlock exclusive data and voice packages valid for 24 hours. Come on, people, jump on the AT Daily Deals train. When you're with dealer now. Dial *533# now and access awesome data and voice deals only from AT. Life is simple.
It's the 3i Africa Summit, where innovation, impact, and investment converge, where technology drives transformation. From the 13th to the 15th of May 2024, heads of state, central bank governors, thought leaders, innovators, investors, academics, and entrepreneurs will converge to unleash Africa's full potential. Discover the power of digital assets, explore the state of digital growth in Africa, and unveil lessons from Africa's central bank digital currency experiments. Engage in discussions on diversity in the creative arts and tech, financing Africa's SMEs and bridging the digital gender gap. Network with investors, pitch your ideas, and access funding at the 3i Africa Deal Room and Pitchfest. Join us at the Accra International Conference Center as we ignite a fintech revolution for Africa's financial future. Visit 3iafrica.com to register now.
There's going to come a time that the church will rise as the highest of all the mountains, and saviors will be raised in the church to deal with the world system. And let it be now. We need to have a national focus. We don't have to lose this ambition, or else we work against the Great Commission.
They are equipped in righteousness, the agenda to possess the nations. Welcome to an equipping center of the word and prayer on Pentecost Hour.
Pentecost Hour comes to you on Joy 99.7 FM every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Hits FM on Mondays at 5:30 a.m. and Joy Prime TV on Saturdays at 7 a.m.
Still here on Joy 99.7, Showbiz A to Z, and we've been talking about artist branding. What are the principles? Here with Uncle Ken, Andrew Aka, 7 Xavier. Now the stage is set, the stakes are high, and the drama is about to unfold. It's the MTN FA Cup semi-finals. Brace yourself for an epic showdown today, and then tomorrow. That is Sunday, 12th May, as Bofwakwa Tano takes on title holders Dreams FC at 3 p.m. all at the Wafa Park in Sogakope. Get ready for thrills, the excitement, and the shock as the journey to the glory or to glory gets heated. Will we see giant slayers or favorite crews to the finals? You can never predict in the MTN FA Cup because of Bia Nyobia. We gave you the opportunity to express your gratitude to the woman who has been there for you through thick and thin and has impacted your life in numerous ways. You've shared your stories of gratitude with us, and we couldn't be more thankful. We received your heartwarming stories about her sacrifices, the care she provided, and the moments that make her so special to you. Now tune in and listen as we share these beautiful stories on air, as we honor the amazing mothers who mean so much to you. Thank You Mommy is powered by Joy FM and sponsored by Woodin. Celebrate your mom with beautiful fabrics. All ladies wear from any Woodin shop and receive a lovely gift. Body Beach Hotel, first choice. Life Healthcare, a lifetime healthcare. It's all about living. Then we have Mwin Tuba Hospital and Kolo Procologic Center. That's right. Aim to serve a peculiar health need. Furniture City, your home of quality furniture. Now hear me. Tomorrow is a Sunday, and we'll be listening to Pentecost Hour, brought to you by the Church of Pentecost and the chairman, Apostle Eric Nyamiche, every Sunday, 1:30 p.m. on Mondays in the morning on Hits FM, 5:30 a.m. on Saturdays, 7 a.m. on Joy Prime TV. So tune in every Sunday, Monday, Saturday, as Apostle Nyamiche brings you live transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites passion, and restores hope in the nations. Church of Pentecost, we are possessing the nation for the Lord. Still right here on Joy 99.7 FM. We are learning. It's a masterclass with Andrew Aka, branding and marketing communications expert, president of the Advertising Association of Ghana. Yeah. 7 Xavier is here, president for Ghana Music Alliance, former artist manager. And then Uncle Ken, former artist manager. Uncle Ken, veteran artist manager. So let's get in here and look at how to repair damaged or broken brand. So let's say you get into an issue, a scandal, it's kind of tarnishes your image somehow. How do you repair the image? Andrew.
Okay, so I'll take it from these two perspectives.
Okay.
First is that, if you have a sore, right, the damage is already done, so you need to heal it. Meaning that you need to take the right medication and the procedure to be able to heal it. But if you're a footballer and the sore is actually on your shin and you didn't wear shin guard, you're going to get hurt and you have to heal it in the first place. So I like to take from the things that you can do to protect your image even before the scandal happens. So you have several platforms that you can use to enhance your image, and you don't have to own all these platforms by yourselves, right? So personally, you can have your social media platforms. You have your LinkedIn, which is where I don't know how many artists have LinkedIn. LinkedIn, because there are communities on LinkedIn who are like people like you within the music management industry and all of that, that you can be part of that, because that's where you show your true professionalism. So utilize your LinkedIn to talk about the professional stuff within your whole industry. People will begin to see you as a thought leader within that space. So that begins to build, enough defense system for you. You can use your own social media. Just don't use your social media to flash the things that you have. To be honest with you, people like it, but in the long term, it really doesn't matter, because nobody remembers the last shoe that you put there, last year or last 2 years, the clothing that you wore. So utilize your social media to begin to build things around you, and the defense system before you get hit will be how do I know my industry that I talk about it and people listen to me? How do I get involved in conversations around my industry? Are you involved in Ghana music issues? Do you participate? Do you contribute? Do you find ways of, which you can utilize your own media platform, or use bloggers who speak about that, or actually have people who can actually script things and you can put out there, right? Nothing stops you from writing thought leadership things or things concerning your industry that you put out there in the newspaper or with bloggers, or or even appear on podcasts that you speak about situations around you. Just exhibiting again just the things that you have in your craft. It's okay, but to have a good defense system, people will come to your defense when they know that you're trying to do things beyond what we know you for. So be relevant in the larger stakeholders. Here, I'm not talking your followers. Larger stakeholders. Let people in government, relevant state institution know that you are concerned about the industry. You are an advocate for things. So it paves the way for you to have access to them, not only for political reason, but have access and have, conversations with them. Now, so these are, for me, the defense mechanism that, take your vitamins before the flu comes in. But once the flu hits, you need to take the right medication, right? And you need prescription. And doctors will be the right to prescribe. So I always say that you need to find good PR persons, people who, again, understand the craft of not spinning the story, but actually putting a very frank, honest projection of whatever it is, because you're hurt already. It's nothing to lie. Be the openness, which most of them just ends in an apology. The apology is fine, it is great, but in there you also need to state the strategy on how you're going to move forward, right? So you need people who can help you to. It's an art, please. PR is not somebody who puts English language and tenses together. It's an art that you need to craft very well, because what you're doing is that you're appealing to the conscience of people and to the heart of people. The brain and the heart will have to come together. So what PR does is that it brings the logic and brings the emotions and it locks it in, so that, and that's why they always end in apology. Why you would feel some type of way because you feel, and it's an art. So you need to have that machinery, right, that you can put in place, which is already, and again, PR has a lifespan. Something happens, you let, I'm quite sure quite recently it could have been quite faster, right? Something happens and you let it simmer for
days.
Is it simmer, right? You let it simmer for days and weeks. It would seem to be, they say, what silence means what? Consent, right? So you need to have that machinery already existing, especially if you're making money from your craft. You need to have that 5-10% money aside for these people. You don't have to pay them, but you need to make sure that you have these tools. Again. You need to have these tools ready, because it would happen as an artist. It could be a rumor, it could be something. You need to prepare. You know yourself. You know. It's like you're going to kill someone, right? Right. But you know that after that there are consequences. So you prepare for the consequences. Okay, killing someone is too extreme, but you're going to do something, with some consequences, right? You need to prepare, yourself for that. So first is trying to surround yourself with the things that would put you in a good spot in the limelight, so that once the injury happens, that will be the first cushion. Okay. And the second one is actually having the machinery that will craft the message in a way that it connects your brain and the heart, right? Which is, it's logical. I did it. I didn't do it, whatever it is. But also put that emotion about, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I promote. If it's apology, whatever it is, the two of them all.
Before I forget.
Are you done, please?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
But I was following him. Andrew, was I not following you?
Please, what
I was following Andrew.
Yes.
And so when he landed, I knew he had landed.
Okay.
But before I forget, I wanted to ask Andrew, if you were a decision maker in a corporate entity and an ambassador had gotten him or herself in a mess.
Yes.
And had come out later, like we are saying, to apologize.
Yes.
And from what you have just said to us,
yes,
would you be in a position to accept the apology and get the ambassador back on board?
Again, when we're talking about you getting injured, right?
Yes.
Even when you heal it, even when it heals and you give it the right medication, there's still going to be the scar.
Sure.
Right. So if you're a model and you have a scar, you can't really model until you do a surgery on that.
Yeah.
The same way I like to say that, the first thing, the brand will want to protect itself against anything. So the first thing is that they want to sever the relationship. For them to consider you again, they'll go through the same exercise that brought you in the first place.
Okay.
Is there a brand fit? What do people think about you? What are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. If the brand doesn't fit, and usually when you go through something fresh like that, it is unlikely that the brand fit will be the same.
Exactly.
Because the perception out there, look, even if you're exonerated, people will believe that you did it, especially when the evidence in the public eye is quite evidential.
Yeah.
It's quite evidential.
Yeah.
People would have judged you already. And that perception, especially if they're the target of the brand, makes it very difficult for them to reconcile why they still want to associate with you. So you see, not every PR is supposed to get you back to where you were. It is supposed to make where you're going smoother.
Okay.
Right? Which is
that's brilliant.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, and that's where the apology and all of that comes quickly, because you have to step down before you step forward, especially when the evidence is evidencing. Like you need to get to a point where you accept that I goofed, right? But this is what I stand for, and going forward, this is what I want to do. You hear these things quite often.
Yeah.
I want to be a better. I'm going to work on myself and all of that. It's to ask for forgiveness, but to say that wherever I'm going, please, have a bit of mercy on me, and I want to be a better person. Journey with me while I go through this. That is if they are going to listen to their own words, right? So that is the space that I think brands would want to, but sever a relationship and come back to it. It's very hard. It's very hard for brands to do it. They'd rather pick someone who doesn't have any stain and want to work with them, especially if they can easily find a fit to that particular brand.
Do CSRs help in cleaning such messes, if you like?
Sometimes it does. Because, you see, no matter what, corporate social responsibilities are meant to help people. right? But like I said, a lot of consumers now do believe that, look, why are you in a tech place and drilling boreholes? Right? But if you're in a tech space and you're actually connecting people digitally, are more inclined because you are it's digital inclusion, right? You're getting a lot more people to be connected on a product or a brand or a service that you're already providing. So that is more believable. But back in the day, boreholes was everyone. I mean, the brands have nothing to do with water, have nothing to do with anything, but they were drilling boreholes. But I think more brands are moving from corporate social, which is still there, which it's needed eventually because it helps some people. But most brands are moving towards, you need to have a strong purpose. You need to have one or two things that you want to change in this world, right? Within the space that you operate.
Okay.
Right. So within Ghana, we have tons of problems, plenty. I'm not saying go and build roads, but the things that affect the humanity, roads don't affect humanity as much as not having education, as much as not having potable drinking water, as much as all our water is being polluted by plastics, and galamsey and all these chemicals. There are too many problems that brands should focus on. What am I going to do to enhance humanity, right? Rather than just what can I give you because I have too much or I have a lot more and I want to do it. And
well, isn't it required by law, the CSR?
No, it's not required by law. There's no law that says that you have to.
Oh, okay.
No, there's no law.
No, yeah.
It's any brand who does good. From science says that consumers are, they are 30% more likely to patronize your product than the other person who does.
Wow.
Yeah. So that brand for good appeals to consumer because you're helping people. There's a water brand that says that, for every bottle, something goes to go. Whether it happens or not, I don't know, but it's a good positioning.
Yeah.
Because what people will know is that at least for every water that helps me, I'm helping somebody who's lying somewhere.
Because the percentage of their earnings
is
going
there. So you need to find that true purpose for your brand, and that is not an easy thing to do, to be honest with you. But every brand should have that platform where they define how they are going to enhance this humanness that we are living to get people to be better. Because guess what? If everybody gets educated, aren't you all going to be better? If everybody gets healthier, aren't you all going to be better?
Sure.
So there's something good in doing things that will help humanity, and I think brands should focus on.
Awesome. Artist manager Seven Savior. What do managers do when their artists or brands get into trouble? How do they save them or salvage the situation?
Well, I wish you would save them before they actually mess up because
there's a shin guard.
I wish you saved them before. And sometimes it's signs. Like you see signs, there are things that you see, and there's definitely a lot of things in the background. Some of our favorite musicians, when you get to know some of their characters, like somebody would say, you'll probably be in awe. But they have to project this nice guy, this and that. But sometimes you have to understand people have anger issues, people have psychological issues, and there's a lot of the characters in creativity, right now. So, I mean,
you guys don't pay for PR.
See, the thing is, I mean, I say they should. I mean, like I said, and it all boils down to what I said last week. There's no proper structure.
But they have
nothing.
money. I know they have money. Why don't they pay for
because
PR?
it's one of those things that you think is not really necessary.
But can I ask a question though?
Please
do. Is there a school that music management school that people attended? That
he mentioned this just 2 weeks ago, right?
No, because every discipline has its knowledge and has its principles.
Music business education here.
You cannot be an accountant if you haven't gone to accounting school.
Exactly.
You can do Excel, but you only get to a certain limit, right? So maybe you can set up.
But that's what Seven said.
Last week.
That it's the duty of the record company
to provide
these services. But because we don't have enough of them in this place,
Yeah.
So it becomes crony management.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
My friends, your friends, our
Yeah.
friends.
And they know they know somebody who can write well
Yes.
or who has
Yeah.
following on
Yes.
social media, so that person can.
If
do
you
PR
were
for
signed
them.
on to a
Write
record
some
company,
some
and a
letter
proper
B
record company,
as a press release.
Yeah.
a proper record company
Well,
will make sure.
We'll make sure, because
Yes.
when you mentioned an artist management,
Yeah.
they don't even book shows. Like they don't like shows are booked with a booking agent.
Exactly.
Like, things are so different in the
In our-
places where these things
in our
normally
environment.
work. In our environment, it's like one guy is doing everything.
How's that possible?
One guy is doing everything. But in a proper environment, the person comes to get the checks, or person dealing with you on the check is a
Right.
business manager.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not an artist
Yeah,
manager.
yeah,
yeah.
You see, so things we need that education. We need
Great.
these things set up, because the bigger companies are coming through, and we are still really behaving as if,
Let me come to Uncle Ken for his final words.
No, Kwame.
Where we? Oh,
I've enjoyed this conversation
great.
immensely.
Okay.
And I've been educated a lot.
Yeah, I have
And
to.
I must say that I hope a lot of people were listening to this out there, because there's so much to derive from the expertise of Andrew
Yeah.
and Seven them, because they've been in the industry.
Yeah.
They know what happens. They've worked with artists.
Mm.
And off camera, no, is it camera? Yes,
Yeah, there are
camera
cameras, yeah.
and off air.
Off mic.
Off mic. Andrew's been telling me certain things that he could not actually put on air.
Why he wants to rebrand you?
Not me. And when you hear some of the stories, it's frightening.
Yeah.
And I hope people who listened today will pass on the information to others. Yeah.
Great one. Andrew, the last one for you.
I mean, I would say that there's a science, there's a method to everything, right? There's a principle to everything. There's science to everything. So whatever you're doing, I would just say that be brutally knowledgeable around, about either your craft or the management around your craft. You need to know first, because at the end of the day, you are the one who is driving this thing for you, this brand for you. So be interested in that and learn a lot more, just like the practice. Learn a lot more about this, and don't be shy to build a network of people who are not within your circle, experts who are outside of your circle that you can tap into. Look, it's not always about money. There are people who are willing to share the experience and their value without necessarily putting a price tag, on you. So don't be shy. Please reach out to people who can help you to craft your brand properly. It's not always about money. And at the end of the day, you learn a thing or two that might help you to drive your own future. So
great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew Aka, who is branding and marketing communications expert, also president of Advertising Association of Ghana. And then to you, Uncle Ken, veteran broadcaster here at Joy FM. And then Seven Xavier, who is president of Ghana Music Alliance. It's been great having all of you here talk about artist branding. This show was produced by this man here, Philip Nye. We had Olivier.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, big man. Olivier found on social media. Yep, and it was brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, superstar multi-food drink. My name is Kwame Dadzie. We're back same time next week. But tomorrow is Mother's Day, yeah? And I leave you with this one from Kofi Kinata. Antiama. This is a special song from him to his mother, Antiama.